Alrighty, are we live? Dude, come on. Okay, so I don't know if I'm live or not. I'm doing the camera the other way, so it's not, the camera's not facing me. So I'm trying to, what the heck, man? There we go. All right. There we go. Okay, sweet. So now I can see you, and then I can see me, and I can see the chat. Shane Miller, he's in Vegas right now, and dude, Red Rock is amazing. The last time I rode to Red Rock, it was, the headwind was so insane. So Shane, what up? All right, so kind of what I want to do is I'm gonna have my family come in here, my son and my wife, and answer some questions about just like family or whatever. My wife is pretty pregnant, so she's a little, you know what I mean. She's not like at the top of her game right now, but I've convinced her to hang out and chat, and then my son will chat a little bit. And so yeah, so we'll answer some of those questions, and then kind of until they get in here, I also just want to like maybe chat about some stories of my life, right? Like past stories. I don't know, it might be cool, and then I'll answer all sorts of questions as well. Can you hear me okay? Is the audio good? Sweet, man. Sweet. So just kind of on a caveat, Shane Miller is in Vegas to do like an esport thing, right? And what was crazy is like my Facebook chat of just like my buddies and stuff, we were talking about how crazy that will end up being, is that, you know, will there be a Tour de France esport type thing where it's like Zwifty, right? And so he's going to be competing in that, and yeah, dude, that's kind of crazy. I don't know what you guys think about that, on putting cycling in sort of like an esport fashion. But dude, honestly, I kind of thought about it a while, and how awesome is that for spectators, right? You can pack a bunch of spectators into a small area, and then you get to see these riders just suffering, and then, you know, virtually, obviously, you get to see them doing that thing. You know, but yeah. So Shane, tell me about, because you're like there's like 8 riders or something, but then can anyone participate in that deal, or is it just like you versus those guys? You know, I'm not sure how that works, but you know. Okay, so it's just you guys for that kickoff event. Neat. Right on, right on. That's cool. This guy says, question from Colombia, would you say that Froome is taking advantage from using tiny engines in the bike? Well, dude, I don't know. You've probably all seen that one video of Fabian Cancellara, where it's kind of like, is he motor doping? And dude, that's a pretty crazy video of him just smashing, and that sort of looks, you know, a little weird. But dude, I don't think Froome. One, I don't think Froome dopes, and I don't think Froome cheats at all. Just because he's like maxed out. He's like maxed out in the weight ratio, right? I mean, he looks like a skeleton. So for what his power puts out and how like maxed out weight wise, like I don't know, he just seems to be the everything is in his favor to be able to climb really well. And so, you know, I don't know. Like Lance Armstrong, dude, he was heavier, and so I don't know, man. He I don't think Froome is cheating. So then Will says, do you prefer aero versus lightweight frame wheels? What bike setup is your favorite to ride? I mean, I haven't had that many bike setups, but I really like the aero just look. You know what I mean? The aero look is pretty sweet for me. And so the really lightweight stuff that looks very tubey, not very aero, very like futuristic. I don't know. I mean, that's cool. That's awesome for lightweight, but for whatever reason, I just really dig they're super futuristic looking, bikes. And so yeah. No, the roads in Vegas, Shane was like, the roads in here in Nevada are fine for 23 mil tires, so smooth. They are pretty smooth. Those roads, they seem like freshly paved all the time. So, Breno. He said, "What do I do? Website design." That was kind of a video I wanted to do separately, just like a real talk on how do I make money, right? Because I think that's something that even so before I was a YouTube creator, I was a YouTube consumer. I still consume so much YouTube, right? I just mash YouTube. Every day I'm watching YouTube. And when I would see people, I would always think, what do you do, man? How you making videos? Why aren't you at work? You know what I mean? And I think that you always want to tell yourself, or at least I did, I would want them to say that they had a really rich family, or they won the lottery, or something of that sort. But that's not really the case. So we'll kind of get into, I mean, this is like a great segue into like stories of my past, of sort of where I came financially, right? What my whole financial arc has been like. And so yeah. So in high school, I wanted to make money right off the bat. I wanted to get making money. I mean, that was just sort of, as like an 18-year-old, just suburban boy, I don't know, man, money was the thing. I wanted to dress in a nice suit. I wanted to make stacks of cash and all that. And so I dropped out of high school. I don't recommend that. If I have young viewers watching, this is like it's hard to navigate this, but I had like a 3.5 grade average when I dropped out. I dropped out like 3 months before graduation. And so it was just like, I for whatever reason, did not think that schooling was going to help my career. I just wanted to get going and started making money. And so I bailed on school, signed out, and started selling cars. And I got like a really good, job at a car dealership, and just like right off the bat, man, was making decent money. There was 1 month where I did like $5,000 in the month. Now that's like before taxes, right? And then, so I was doing pretty good at selling cars at 18, and then someone came to me with a pyramid scheme, and I didn't know what pyramid schemes were at all, right? I'm just like all about making money. So this guy comes, he's like, dude, you make so much money. There's people driving Ferraris, yada, yada, yada. I was like, dude, sign me up. I want to drive a Ferrari. I didn't know it. I quit this good car selling job, really nice, like top-end cars, and jumped into this pyramid scheme, dude, and didn't make any money. Quit that really good job. But then, so what that showed me is I want to work for myself. I really wanted to work for myself. And so at that time, my mom was a mortgage broker. She did a lot of real estate, and she helped me get into a home when I was 18 with my car selling money and stuff like that. So she helped me get into a house, and so I had a little bit of mommy help for sure. But so I took that house, I refinanced it, and pulled out money and went and started a motorcycle shop. It was called Venom Motorsports. And I sold dirt bike and street bike apparel, like clothing and gear. And so right before I turned 19, I was owning my own retail store. And dude, that was just such an epic adventure. Um, for sure. Like owning your own business. The one thing I gotta say is like, if you go into business for yourself, try to do something that you don't super love. Like don't do that hobby, because as me, I was racing motorcycles, and so I had all this new motorcycle gear on the shelf and parts, and dude, I was my worst customer because new gear would come in, I'd just be like, oh, sick gear, dude, I'm gonna wear that, and yeah, it's not good for business. So I'd always have new fresh gear all the time and parts, and so I didn't do myself any favors. That was in 2007 is when that started, or 2004, when the economy was booming, and so everyone wanted motorcycle parts and accessories and gear, and that's how I met my wife. And anyway, so then I went out of business, and that sucked, man. I went from filet mignon and lobster and just driving this huge truck, toy hauler motorcycles. I was just like balling. To then within like a week, I was out of business, and I had no income whatsoever. And so we just like took all the parts and we started selling them on eBay. My wife and I were in like a couldn't pay our mortgage anymore, and so I'm just like in a foreclosed home. But the economy was so bad that the you could foreclose on a home and no one would tell you anything because everyone was foreclosing on their home, especially in my area, right? So I was able to get like stay in this home for a year for free, until finally they like caught up with it. But so that was kind of crazy. So I went from high of selling cars to low of the pyramid scheme to like high running the business to super low having just super depressed. And if you've watched my like vegan transformation video, I kind of talk about where that just like losing almost my identity, right? Like my identity was a business owner where I was selling motorcycle parts, and I was just this motorcycle guy, and I was really confident, to just all that going away in a heartbeat. Man, that was tough to deal with. Like your identity as a person like stripped away. It's like, well, what am I without motorcycles? What am I without being a business owner, right? So that was tough. And then my mom went through the same thing. Her mortgage business failed, and so we both were kind of just like, man, what are we gonna do, right? So then my mom and I got this jobs as debt counselors, which is funny because I was in so much debt, right? That now I'm being like a debt counselor. And I was like having to wear a suit and tie and be in this office, dude, and it just was weak. But I was able to talk to America, the America that no one ever really talks about, which is like middle class people trying to live up to the Joneses, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt. And man, it was just a really humbling experience to go and be, I don't know, like in the trenches of so much debt. And so that's why I don't use credit cards anymore at all, period. I don't operate on credit because of that whole thing. But so anyway, so there was that. And then in that debt business, I was able to save up some money and then start an online business. It was like a gambling site, basically. So it's like a penny auction. I don't know if you know what a penny auction is. At one point, they were really popular. So then, so I had that gambling online business. In 1 month, we ended up making 60 grand. It was like awesome, It's like sweet, dude. And then that's right when like the government started hitting online gambling sites hard and basically said you can't do this, and they seized all the funds. So like that was our best month in business, and then they all that money was gone. So that was crazy. And that was I was a new father, right? And so having no job, all the money, all the hard work that was going into that, again, gone. So then um, myself and my mother went into making websites because I kind of knew a little bit about design and she knew how to sell. And dude, we were just like knocking down doors trying to get anyone to do websites with us, and it was just such a struggle. So that was such a struggle for so long, for like 2 or 3 years. And I remember one point where like I didn't have the money to pay my rent, and my lease was coming up. So what I did is I was like, I'll renew a lease. I really love this place. And so then that was like, buy me some time. I was like, well, I'll just pay the rent when I sign the new lease. And then I told them that the like lease didn't come in the mail, and just like buy me as much time as possible. Oh my goodness, it was just like on the rivet, dude. Just threshold the whole way with money. And then I don't know, we just like hit this like threshold, this little point where we got into the off-road business, like selling or like doing websites for people selling off-road things, Jeep parts and e-commerce. And then that kind of like been steady. It's been really nice. And so like that is how right now I make my money, is making websites for the off-road industry. And so that's kind of just been this upward trend. We're learning how to do more work or take on more work, putting less work into it, right? So instead of a 1-to-1 ratio, doing like 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio. And so there, that's how I'm able to work from home. It's like I just have computers and I make things on the computers, and then and yeah, the YouTube thing. I mean, what I make from YouTube is so minuscule. It barely pays my internet bill. I mean, it's not really a thing. I've talked to a few other YouTubers to try to get a gauge of like where they are, but for how much time I put into YouTube and what I return from it as a check from YouTube is almost pointless, right? But there's a lot more that I get out of YouTube than just financial compensation, because it's really not much. I think that eventually I maybe could build an audience large enough and get enough views that it would be something. But dude, I don't know, man. I've got this other project, which is a data transfer business, and that's kind of my like main goal for being set financial wise. But I've talked about this before. I'm not that hungry to be rich. My family provides so much for me. My life, writing, where I live, YouTube, you people, right? I mean, the audience I have, like the affirmation that I receive daily is just phenomenal. And so yeah, I mean, it's hard sometimes to like push it forward. You see my son right here? Yeah, come on in. So it's hard sometimes to push forward and try to make money, because my life just seems, it's like so perfect right now. So I don't really want that much more cash flow. But I would like to be able to have something for my son. I want to pass something on to him when he's a little older. So there you go. So that's that little story. I'll go back to comments for a second. Bob says, cycling maven going to camp. I asked him. I asked a couple people to come out here, but dude, the plane ride from Australia to here is expensive. Stop. Okay, so why would you put a child on YouTube? Because this is my family, dude. I don't. Can you see yourself, Bubs? All right, so my son He's 6. My wife, she's awesome. These are my puppies, and yeah, man. I mean, we've got one more on the way. Can you show your belly at all?
I'm trying to hide it.
She's trying to use the puppies to hide it. Look at that big belly. How much money does your son make? I mean, when it's his birthday, dude, he balls out. Like, everyone sends him so much money. You know? The puppies. So this is Benny. That's Benny, and he's the dad, right? He's Papa. And then his son, his legitimate son. This is his son, Ollie. And and then the mom. Come here, big girl. Whoa. And then this is the mom, June. So it's like a family of puppies, right? It's mom, papa, and son. So the all white. So the father's a Maltese, a pure Maltese, and June is what? A Shorkie.
Shorty. It's hard to read the comments.
Yeah. So, do you see, they can see you picking your nose? If you're picking your nose. Can you tell them, come here? So, my son has done some bike racing. You've done motocross, BMX, road, right? And you've done track, running. Tell me about racing.
I like it because it's fun.
What about when you just get totally beat? What's that like?
It's still fun.
Let me see the gun. What do you think is better, BMX, moto, or road?
Moto.
You like motos? Tell me about when you wrecked really hard on the road bike.
Or was the moto?
Well, you've wrecked both. But remember when you wrecked on the road bike and you peeled off your skin? Tell them about that story.
It hurted a lot.
Well, what happened?
I tried to.
Look at Dad. Stop looking at yourself.
I tried to go over a ram and I went sideways and I wrecked really hard.
You did. What happened when we tried to like gauze you up and fix the owies? Was that just horrible?
Yeah.
If you've never wrecked on a road bike, you probably don't know how bad road rash is, but Tegaderm is a lifesaver. We called it robot skin for him because if you get road rash and you just put like gauze on there, when you remove it, it's bruh. And so Tegaderm is kind of expensive, but it's such a lifesaver for sure. Yeah. So
Someone said, "Do we fight over hair products?"
do we fight
Does it
over?
look like you do your hair?
No, I don't really do my hair. It just kind of gets crazy, right? It's just ever fix the hole in your bathroom roof? Did we fix that hole?
Yeah.
It took so long for them to do it because it was just raining. But then finally some guy came over and he made quick work of that hole. But I still have a tree in my backyard, just like kind of like propped up against the house. So, where can you get Tegaderm? Like CVS, Walgreens, that type of place. I don't know if that's everywhere, but definitely, if you've ever wrecked, you need like Tegaderm. Blast that out. Yeah, so let's put my wife on blast right now because she's not vegan. She she's pretty vegan, right? What?
I'm not
That
vegan.
they're definitely 90%, right? And my justification of it is that the amount of dairy that they eat is so minuscule. But still, you know what I mean. I give her smack sometimes. So I mean, why explain yourself.
I mean, I feel like I eat a little amount of food, and so the things that aren't vegan give me so much happiness that it's hard to give up because then it's like I'm not really eating much that makes me happy. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
To you, maybe, I don't know. I don't. So my wife's not really like a foodie. She's not really into food, and especially savory food.
I'm a desserty.
She's a desserty for sure. To me, broccoli and potatoes, man, is that's my jam. I look forward to that. I look forward to my dinner every night, and I don't necessarily think that she does
I
as
look
much.
forward to dessert.
Yeah.
And there's vegan desserts, and I make vegan desserts all the time, but sometimes having like a dark chocolate bar that has toffee just gives me that little bit of happiness that food doesn't give me.
Yeah. What's your justification on eating seafood? Because she doesn't eat any beef or chicken or turkey or anything like that, but she'll occasionally eat, some sushi or some salmon or something like that.
I guess like if I'm eating salmon or seafood, then I'd like to have it where it's from the ocean. I'm not going to eat that's farm raised. But I would not be okay with killing a cow, but I have killed a fish, and I just feel like a fish is different because it's not a mammal. So to me, it feels different. Doesn't make me happy, but the small amount of nutrients and whatever that fish is giving me, I think it's good for me eating it in such small amounts.
There you go. Did I follow the indie pack? I didn't really follow the indie pack at all. I didn't really know where to follow it. I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really get into it that much. It kind of made me, I don't know, feel like I should be doing something similar. So in America, they have RAM, Race Across America. And I feel like I was sort of thinking, if I get into this indie pack thing, I'm going to be sort of forced to do the RAM. I don't really want to do it, but if I would probably get super inspired watching all them do that, and so I don't know. It was super cool. I was gutted when that whole thing happened, especially for Cycling Maven, just because of, man, what that would have done for Cycling Maven's like channel and that sort of thing of like finishing the whole thing. And I mean, he sort of put this big investment to do that big. I mean, just for everyone, right? Going so far, then not finishing. I mean, obviously you understand why they didn't finish, but I mean, frustration through the roof. So I don't know, man. That was a bummer. That whole situation was a bummer. And then that also, we all know what happened. Makes me think twice about doing something like that, going racing across America, just because of the situation that you're out in the middle of nowhere, and man. So, she asked someone said, "What do you eat, eggs?"
I didn't really eat eggs before I got pregnant, but then once I got pregnant, I was really craving eggs, but I would never buy eggs from the store. I always buy them from either someone who has the chickens that they're doing themselves, and so that's where I get them from chickens that aren't in cages sold to the store.
Yeah, so where we live, there's a lot of people that do backyard chickens. We had chickens for a while. And so if you've never seen someone that has chickens in their backyard, you might think very negatively about it, but it's not that way at all. I mean, our chickens were so awesome. They were like our pets. And
Well, I mean, they're gonna lay an egg,
they're,
no matter what.
yeah.
That's what chickens do.
Uh-huh.
And so it's kind of gross that you're eating it because of what it is, but it's not like if you're not eating the backyard chicken's eggs, they're not gonna lay it. They're laying the egg.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I mean I get it. I get it. I just it's just a little weird for me to eat it. I don't know. It seems a little weird to me now, but I get it. So my son's watching himself because he can see himself, so he's doing all these weird things. Someone said, with the baby on the way, am I expecting to be off the bike a lot? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to be. You know what I mean? With him, it would be, I was off the bike for a little while, but then it's easy. It's like, hey, watch the baby for a minute. I'm gonna go out for an hour ride, 2-hour ride, whatever.
Yeah, but you had just started riding when he was a baby.
Uh-huh. But so, with the new one, she's also gonna have to deal with this one. So that's gonna be really difficult. I'll probably be off the bike quite a bit. Yeah, so Shane says that smashing Zwift. I'll probably almost go like exclusively Zwift this winter, and just ride Zwift all the time. But dude, with a new baby, you're just so exhausted mentally that it's going to be hard just to even want to get on the bike. Period. How often do you do local group rides? You're in California, right? I am in California. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the kind of fast group ride, and I really like doing those. It's a 2-hour ride for me to get there, because it's about an hour drive to meet to where it starts. But I love it, dude. On Tuesday, and I filmed it, and I put the power on. I'm going to do a whole group ride breakdown. We went out, I rode 2 hours to the start of the ride, and then you race back to this point. Is awesome. It's a great training to like crush your legs and then have to do some kind of fast ride. Ian says, don't you live in Yosemite? Technically, this is Yosemite, but I'm 17 miles from the gate, right? So I couldn't really live much closer to Yosemite. I mean, there's a few houses, there's a few places up the road. I think Fish Camp is like the last town. That's like the next town to me. So I live right there. Real talk, who would you rather have in with a two-man break? Alex, Tony, or me? So that's Chris Kane. You've probably seen him in a couple of my videos. I do a lot of like Ask a Cyclist with Chris Kane. He rode Yosemite with me this year. And so who I'd rather have in a two-man break with me being Alex, who I was in a two-man break with just recently in CCX. I was in a two-man break with Chris actually 2 years ago, and I was in a breakaway with Tony once. So all of them are great sprinters. All of them could out-sprint me. So I don't know. Whichever one I could leverage my YouTube fame with. To Athens, says Tony. Be like, yo, let me win. One crazy race, myself and Chris, it was, I don't know where it was. It was a crit. And me and him got off the front. It was one of my first, maybe I was a 3. It was a 1, 2, 3, and I think I was a 3. And me and him got off the front, and I was just, my heart, I don't know if it was right or not, but my heart rate was like 215. Right? And I kept telling him, like, just don't attack me. I'll do whatever work. I was like bargaining with Chris as much as I could, making deals, and then we ended up getting caught with like 3 laps to go, which was a bummer. But yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, that was at the Specialized headquarters. He's a Stanford crit for sure. That was a lot of fun. So I don't know who I'd rather be in a break with. Honestly, I'd rather be in a break with Tony, because I think if there was ever a decent sized hill, I could probably dislodge him. Maybe if I just went out of my skull. But Alex and Chris, man, they're it's hard to detach them. Yeah, and then Tony, I think I could leverage my friendship with him. Someone asked, how did I propose? How did I propose? Goodly.
Quickly. Well, you said that we were going to dinner, and then you took me to all the different places that we had memories at. So, like the first house we lived together, other houses we lived together, places that meant a lot to us, and then we were driving to somewhere where I've never been, and you're like, don't you remember this spot? And I said no, and then you said, well, you should, because this is where you proposed, and then you proposed.
So my wife, her stories, they suck. So
So why do you leave it up to me then?
I thought you would pull through with a good story, and it didn't happen. So I kind of surprised her with it. My mom has been married a bunch of times, and so she gave me a ton of her past rings, and then I took them all into a ring shop just to like see how much they would give me for it, and I basically was able to get a ring for her for not very much, and so I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I hadn't really even thought about proposing. And then I sat on the ring for like 3 weeks trying to think about how to propose. And what was funny is maybe 2 weeks after, I have a ring. It's sitting in my desk. And she comes in and she starts ripping me apart. Like, where is this going? We've been together for 6 years. You know, if you're not going to propose, why am I even here? And it was just like everything I had to not just throw the ring at her face and be like, what? You know? So she was just giving me all this crap, and it was like, man, I can't wait to propose. And so the thing was, I took her to all of these memorable spots. The first place we ever met, and then we kind of like hung out there. And then I took her to the first place we kissed, and the first house we lived in, and on all these things. And this was 6 years into our relationship, right? So we're pretty like close. And then I took her to this spot, and I was like, this is probably the most important spot. And she has a bad memory. That's the key, is her memory sucks. And so it's like, she's kind of believing like, well, man, did I forget about this spot? How could I have forgot about the most important spot in our whole relationship? And then I got down and proposed. Right as like a jogger's just jogging right by. And we all kind of like look at the jogger. That's how I proposed. You are brutal on your wife. Hey, so how we've been married for
6 years.
We've been married for 6 years. We've been together for 12.
Well, we were together 6 years before, so that would be 12.
Yeah. So we've been together for a long time. Are you signing out with the yuck? So we've been together for a really long time. We've stayed in the same, like that's her desk over there, right? I mean, we work in the same office. We're together all the time. And so, you kind of have that like friendship. Like she is my best friend, 100% my best friend, beyond also my wife and partner and mother of my child for sure. So we dog on each other hard, but I'm not trying to win any brownie points like we did. We got a solid relationship. How old are you guys? Well, I'm 31, and I can't tell you her age, but we're the same age.
I'm not 31.
She's 30. I had to spoil it.
That's so funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's funny. So, are you guys gonna visit the Front Range? Oh, I lost it. What's your biggest race you're looking forward to? Dude, I don't know, man. Honestly, the races I look forward to are the small races, the ones that I possibly have a chance to do well at. The big races, it's like the big races are just so intimidating. I want to do Cascade. I definitely want to do Cascade. I don't know if I'll do it this year or not because of the new baby, but definitely want to do Cascade. I might be in Sea Otter. I'm for sure gonna be at Sea Otter. I just don't know if I'm gonna race or not. I will for sure be at Sea Otter, so that's kind of something I'm looking forward to. Tour of Americans, Dairyland. I'm vegan. I can't promote that. Can't promote Dairyland. No, I'm joking. That's just far. It's just far, man. It's hard. It's hard to do everything. I missed Chico this year because I didn't have a TT bike, and I regret that. Chico was so much fun last year. I gotta make sure I do Chico every year. That's something I gotta do.
You're ignoring your sister?
Why are you ignoring my sister, Dallas Wickett? She says, "Why are you ignoring me?" I'm not ignoring you. I'm in the middle of a conversation. I can't jump off to each every. You know. Are you gonna visit the Front Range of Colorado or Durango? What is that? I used to live in Colorado. I used to live in Lakewood. If I lived anywhere else than here, it would be Colorado, for sure. My sister was born in Colorado. You know, why isn't Remy on here? On the chat, Sean Remy. I don't know. He's probably running and eating bananas. Sean's cool. He helped me get my coffee machine just recently, so that was good. Yeah, Chris, I am coming to Sea Otter. I'll be at Sea Otter. I just don't know if I'm gonna race or not. Maybe. Favorite bike brands? Am I forced to say Diamondback? I really like my Diamondback a lot. But you know what bike I don't know why I seem to like a lot is that Factor. The colors are really cool on that. Factor looks cool. I've never ridden it. But, you know. What initially drew me to Diamondback was... Will you open the window and turn the fan on? It's getting hot. What initially drew me to Diamondback was the price. Being able to get a high-end bike for what I was able to squeeze into it. Do I watch GCN? I do watch GCN. I do watch GCN every once in a while. They're cool. I've talked to Daniel Lloyd a couple times on Instagram. I was trying to get them to share my Everest video. But I failed. The Everest failed, so I don't know. They didn't, you know. So Tony's on here, and no, Tony, get off my pass, bruh. get off my pass. Chris, I choose you for the 2-man break, and I'll let you in.
Huh?
Are you out here or what?
Go to the bathroom. Go upstairs and come back.
I think my son has to take a dump. My son was just out. He was just like out, dude. Will I try Everesting again? I'll do an Everest again this year in the summer. I'll have the right gearing though for it. For sure. So, what power meter do I use? P1 pedals. I actually have a review done on Power Tap pedals. I just got to upload, or it's uploaded. I just got to click publish. Do I have meetups? Yeah, dude, I have meetups. Come to Yosemite. Triathlon. There's a triathlon in Bass Lake, and if I can squeeze into a TT bike, I will for sure even if I don't get a TT bike, I 100% will do a triathlon this year. I can't have my son do a triathlon and me not do a triathlon. It's just, dude, swimming is scary. I don't know if anyone's tried swimming, but with the goggles on, you're like looking down into this murky water. Man, it's I don't know, it's scary. It's kind of scary to be swimming. I don't know why I'm so scared to do it. Okay.
Someone wants to know what's my least favorite part of recycling.
Chris said I can borrow. What's the least? Go ahead. So what's the least favorite part of me cycling?
Yeah, if it's like you being gone, I would say probably getting up early to go to races and then sitting at the really long races with Ethan.
When do you get up early? I have the vlogs. It's me getting up early. You're snoozing.
Okay, so last year, me and or the year before, me and Ethan would go often. I want you to think that I don't like you going for bike rides because then you feel bad, but it's nice to be able to do whatever I want, like watch shows.
Yeah, I guess it's whatever. That was a long time ago. I think you woke up one time to go. Chico, you had to wake up early and go with me because we were staying over there. That's so funny.
Well,
dude.
I'm not waking up early, but like just hanging out with Ethan. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's cold. We have to sit in the car.
All right. So, one question: do I do upper body training? I don't. I do everything. I lift everything with my legs. I did jiu-jitsu for a really long time, and I went to the gym and I lifted weights. I don't know, man. I really am. I like functional muscle, functional power, that sort of thing. So to have a big upper body and not compete in jiu-jitsu, I don't know. I'm not trying to just flex on fools, and so I kind of just want to divert all my energy to one metric, one dimension. The core work I think is really important, but I don't do any upper body. Which the other day I tried to like climb up. He was doing something. He's climbing up this wall. He's doing something super crazy, and then I tried to do it. I was like, dude, I can't. My upper body is weak. You know. So come to Arizona. No. What's it? I don't know. What's in Arizona? Someone said they watched your triathlon video. Can you tell us about your triathlon?
It was fun.
What else? More than that.
It was fun because I liked the swimming part when we got to swim, and then when we got to get on our bike and when we got to run. I liked the part because I won it. I won the triathlon.
You did win the triathlon. What were you mad when you started the bike so far down?
Yeah.
Was the water cold?
Yeah. No.
No.
It was warm.
Could you have gone further?
No.
No. You went full gas, huh?
Yeah, I wish I didn't have a floaty.
Well, next year or this coming year, you gonna do it again with no floaty
Yeah.
and just go super fast?
Yeah. No life jacket this time.
No life jacket. Why did I choose to live in Bass Lake? I know it's near Yosemite. Visited Bass Lake. Love the little lake. So, I work from home. I can live anywhere. My income would change zero amount wherever I lived. So, we were sort of kicking around Hawaii. Because, like, who wouldn't want to live in Hawaii? But, she's really close with her family. She didn't want to... We wouldn't be able to see her family a lot. We don't know anyone there. And the cycling, honestly, in Hawaii is like a week, dude. It is cool to go around an island once, twice, 100 times around that island. You're like bored. and there's no racing. And so, not that dictates everything in my life, but I just wasn't ready to be kind of a beach bum. And so we were watching some like House Hunter Lake Edition, and we lived 30 minutes from Bass Lake. And so it was like, dude, how sick would it be if we lived in Bass Lake? But no one rents, okay? No one rents homes up here for like a legitimate, everything's vacation homes. So you can rent it for a week. So we didn't really ever think we'd be able to get anything. And I rent because of my failed business. It's really hard to buy a home. It's really hard to prove my income. Why don't you go blow your nose, Bubs? It's really hard to prove my income. And anyway, and we found this crazy house that we live in. It was like the day they put it up for rent, we looked. So we were like the first ones to come and take a gander at it. And she loves the lake. I mean, dude, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. It takes a little getting used to, I guess, but we got used to living in the mountains back at our old place in Corscold. So, you know. How you get enough money to get 2 races? Well, so I'm really fortunate that Michael David pays for my races. All my races are paid for. So that's such a help. So, you know, and that's kind of why I don't really do a whole lot of the far races. I don't drive that far for races. So, and when I do, I'll carpool. Tony has probably forked out at least $500 in gas for me over the time because he's like carpooled me so much. What are you doing, man? Goose, dude.
I'm watching the video. It's so weird.
Ever gone to the polo fields in San Francisco? I saw some guys playing bike polo last year in Visalia. That stuff was crazy. Do I like TTs? I don't really have much time doing it. And so I think I would like TTs. I think my motor would be really good for a TT. I just need to get a TT. Do you stabilize your Criterion videos? I don't. Because what I do, so how I make a crit video is I'll take all of the GoPro footage, so like 75 minutes of that, and so I'll take so this most recent crit, 75-minute crit, I take all that footage and I overlay power on it, okay, and then I use that one thing. To stabilize the footage, I would have to put all of the raw footage in, stabilize it. That would probably take 15 hours to stabilize, then take that one, export that whole hour in 15 minutes. So that'd take another 24 hours to export, and then put that into the overlay thing, and then the overlay thing would take probably another 12 to 15 hours to overlay, then to export another 12. It would literally take me a week of exporting and importing and exporting and importing before I even had a stabilized crit video with power overlay.
Your wife's pregnant. Hopefully. Else I'm just a fat heifer.
How rude! How rude, cycling. She's not pregnant. Yes, she is pregnant. She's like 6 months pregnant.
6 months. Okay, let's go.
Does anyone have any questions for my wife or my son? Because my son's getting antsy.
Oh yeah, and of course a vegan cyclist. Yay!
Okay. I'm not out of here. My son is. Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you, guys. Give me a kiss.
Can I do good?
You did great, man. High five. Give me a kiss. Thanks, bud.
Welcome. Bye.
I'm staying. I'm hanging out. How did we meet? So, thanks, babe. If you haven't watched the cycling relationship video that I did, definitely watch that one. That's probably my favorite video that I've ever done, where it has myself, my wife, Chris and his girl, Tony and his girl, when we kind of go through some questions on relationships and cycling and that sort of thing. And I explain how I met my wife there. Definitely check it out. So yeah. What is one tip you could give an overweight cyclist wanting to get into racing, do more hills or long, slow rides? Get a power meter. And because honestly, to me, it doesn't matter if you're doing hills or you're not doing hills. If you have a power meter, you can get right into those zones that you need to be, building your base or building your motor. But if you're an overweight cyclist, don't think about it. Don't overthink racing. Just start racing. If you overthink it too much, you may never race. And what could happen is you could get into, if you just went and raced right now, unprepared, okay? Maybe you do okay, maybe you don't, doesn't matter. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna get really inspired to wanna go harder. And it's that inspiration that is really difficult, right? So motivation comes from within. Inspiration is an external force. So you can get inspired by going and doing a race and you see other people doing well, and then you kind of have this oh, I want to do that. And this sort of alpha thing inside of you is I want to be the top guy. I want to raise my arms. And then that inspiration will feed into your own personal motivation to get up, to train hard, to diet. Because man, it honestly, weight loss, it's a lot diet based. I mean, you can go out and crush all the miles you want, but if you're consuming more calories than you're burning, it's going to be very difficult for you to get rid of that weight. If I ever come to China, so Sean Remy went over. Where did he go? Did he go to Japan or did he go to China? He did some crit over there. I watched that on live stream. I want to do that. So if he does that again, I want to try to piggyback off his flight and go over there. You know what I mean? Any other vegan breakfast addition to your smoothies? So my smoothies have been off the chains, man. I crush so much kale, a whole beet, spinach, the good fruit, loose fruit, fresh fruit, I don't put in my smoothies because I'll just eat that, right? So my smoothies are usually the stuff that, I would never sit down and eat an entire bushel of kale, but I will do that in my smoothie. Chia seeds, and then just a bunch of really overpowering juice. Pomegranate juice is what I did this morning, or the naked juice, that sort of thing. You just drown it in that, and then you can just. So then I sort of feel that's the first thing I do in the morning, right? It's this big honking smoothie with all these macronutrients, kale and spinach and beets and carrots and raw broccoli and chia seeds. So I sort of feel that if I get busy throughout the rest of the day and I kind of forget to consume, I sort of feel good that I've nourished my body. That was check that one off the list, So yeah. Show and describe us your bike. So that's the Diamondback Equipe. That's their Aero, top of the line. It's slightly heavier than my Felt. Barely, right? I mean, you could grams. The high cycling wheels, those are 60 deep. I've got 25 mil tires on there, power tap pedals. 3T, I'm going to be doing something with 3T here soon. They've got this Exploro bike that they're going to let me demo. Super sick, can't wait for that. But I'm going to get some 3T aero bars for this thing. The geometry on it, I really like the geometry. The way I'm seated on it, it feels really comfortable for a race bike. Okay. So like you said, get a power meter. So 105 with a power meter would be better than Alterra. Dude, a wooden busted garbage bike with a power meter would be better than your most high-end road bike with no power meter. I just, so you can purchase speed and through your bike, right? Light bike and better components and all that sort of thing. But that's just like that's just a flat line, right? You're never progressing that. But if you get a power meter and you train well, then you're enhancing your body, your legs. So the amount of power that you could increase by having a good power meter and a good training program, dude, you know what I mean? Give me a busted Fisher Price tricycle, and a power meter, and I'd rather run that than your top of the line Trek with no power meter. Just because I know what I'm doing, I know that power, like I know I'm progressing. PMs for life, bro. Do I train? I train on carbon clinchers, but not those ones. Those are my race wheels. I try not to train on those ones. Not necessarily because of the rim, just because of the rubber. I just don't want to wear out the rubber. Have you ever ridden with Justin Rossi? Yeah? Yeah? If you have, so what's his video? Trainer Road did a video with Justin Rossi. He's like a local, he races in my NCNCA. Super, super awesome dude. And Trainer Road did a sick video with him going for the National Time Trial Championship. If you haven't seen that, super sick. Yeah, I've ridden with him. We haven't like chatted. In Snelling last year, his video I just dropped, and I talked to him a little bit about his video then, but you know what I mean? He's like on another level than I am. Can you get high from hemp protein powder? No, you cannot. Dude, hemp is a miracle plant. Has no psychoactive properties. The Chase. Yeah, that's what it was called. The Chase. Super sick video. I am going to Everest again. I'm going to Everest again this year. Oh, Robert. What's up, bro? So Robert, I trained with him in jiu-jitsu a long time ago. Man, I really want to get back into jiu-jitsu a little bit. I did jiu-jitsu just recently, and that was fun. Who's gonna win Paris-Roubaix? I don't know, but you know what's gonna be sick is that I'm gonna do a race cast with Phil Guyman, and we're gonna watch the Paris-Roubaix he was in, right? So that's like what, last year or 2 years ago. So that'll be kind of neat to get his viewpoint on it, on what Paris-Roubaix actually is like. Super crazy. I mean, honestly, I just want to see Sagan win everything. That's all I care about, dude. I just want to see Sagan crush everyone's face off. With the one that we just watched, Flanders. I woke up, I was live streaming it, I was like, sick, yeah, what? So pumped. And as soon as Sagan wrecked, I just like tossed my phone. It's like, I'm over it. Whatever. On to the next one. What do you think about Chad Reed in the last week's Supercross? I think Chad Reed's a punk, dude. He's a punk. That was so whack. So Supercross, Chad Reed is like this, handsome Australian dude. Everyone loves him. Everyone wants him to do well. But I've never been a fan of Chad Reed. And so he was like just motoring around and getting lapped, and then dude held up Dungey so hard on purpose. I listened to a podcast with about it, and they were hardcore supporting Chad Reed, saying that he had his reasons because Dungey and whatever. You've been looking at the Diamondback TT. I have been looking at the TT for Diamondback. I need to get a TT bike for sure. What's up, Brian? Yeah, have you watched those Peter Sagan interviews recently? Dude, Sagan's got to be the coolest guy ever, right? And Tony Wolf and I were talking about this. Like, you make a video game character, right? And A lot of times in cycling, you'll get guys, or any sort of sport, when you've like maxed out their performance metric, everything else suffers. So sometimes you'll get a guy that's like super awesome, but his charisma is just zero. You know what I mean? But with Peter Sagan, dude, it's like he's maxed out in everything. Not only is he an amazing bike rider, but dude, he's got like luscious locks, and he's charismatic, and he's funny, and dude, he's just everything the sport of cycling needs. For sure. And what's weird is that no one calls him out on, like, he's never been accused of doping, which I think is just a testament to just like how he rides, right? Like he just rides so amazing. You know, but dude, Sagan is just he's the man. He's the man. Bikes don't win races. You don't need a TT. 1,000% incorrect. There's unless you've ever. I mean, dude, TT bikes. If you're doing a TT, 100%. If you don't have a TT bike, you're not even gonna get close. You know what I mean? But the thing is that for me, I don't really do a lot of stage racing. Stage racing would take me away from my family and my work for too much time. I'd have to devote too much energy to that. When I did Chico last year, you know, it's not like you're just taking 4 days off, because when you get back, dude, you're waxed. And so, you know, I don't have the privilege of showing up to a job and just like hammering a nail or like doing a laborious thing and just getting paid. It's very cerebral. And so it's hard, because when you use all your energy during a stage race and you try to then produce a website or be creative or whatever, it's difficult. So it took me like 3 or 4 days after Chico to sort of get back into like my flow of things. So I don't really need a TT bike. I would like to have one, but I can't imagine that I would do a lot with it. But you know, I'm gonna do that Red Kite stage race, Memorial Day stage race. There's a prologue, Matt Hamilton RR Memorial Day crit, and a real TT. Like a real TT. Most of TTs around here are like 10 miles. I would like to do a TT that was big, you know, an hour-long TT or something. I say that, maybe I actually try it and then hate it. What happened to the old one, the old bike? Or the old, so I was borrowing that Felt TT, that wasn't mine. My regular TT I have in my garage, or my Felt I have in my garage. Any tips for training 14 hours a week and working part-time? 14 hours is kind of a lot. You know, you don't necessarily need to do 14 hours. I mean, you can. But dude, honestly, if you're training with purpose, if you've got ATP coaching from Tony Wolf on your side, you know what I mean? You can get a lot of benefit out of 10. You don't necessarily need 14. I just did. So with Zwift, I've been able to go, I think I did 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hours, right? I think I've done, I'm like on a 6-week block of just this progressive, real massive volume. This week I'm taking a mega rest week. I haven't rode in 2 days. I'm just kind of chilling out because I've had a lot of volume. So I've not been to Canada. I keep ducking down because my phone is like over the comment section, and so you know. Best climb in California for you? I live 5 minutes from Bayshore, which is a 4,000 foot climb. I love that climb. It goes from 3,500 to 7,500, 7,200, so just under 4,000 feet. So it's at elevation. It's beautiful, like the roads are closed. I mean, I know there's a lot of other awesome climbs around, but man, that one's so close to me, and it's super sick. So this guy says stages versus 4II. I don't know what I don't have any sort of like experience with 4II, but my experience with stages is not very good. The consistency of the power, I think, was good. It wasn't very accurate, but it seemed I'd have progression, and it's just like, so if you have a power meter, it needs to work. Okay, it just needs to work, because when you go out to do a workout and you're mid workout and all of a sudden your power meter dies, or the battery falls out, or whatever the case is going on with my stages at the time, it gets really frustrating, and then you could be like inclined to just giving up the workout and sort of just being over it. And so I really like the pedals that I have. They are super duper expensive, but the Power Tap pedals I've had zero issues with once I've got everything dialed. They've just been phenomenal. So how often do I do a resting heart rate test? So I have like a little band that I usually wear on my wrist when I sleep. It tracks my sleep and my heart rate. And so I have like a graph of like my resting heart rate when I come out of sleep to sort of make sure that I'm not overtraining. So, you know what I mean? I keep a close eye on my resting heart rate. Are you going to make any more indoor trainer videos? Yes. Yes. I've got one in the works, and it's super sick. What level? USCF? I don't know what that is. Valid point. Then what power meter would you recommend? Most other power meters are much more expensive. So again, I recommend the Power Tap pedals, but holy moly, they are expensive. So it's definitely an investment. But again, I mean, if you say you buy a $500 Pioneer or $400 Stages or 4ii, you might not be getting what you want out of that, and you might have to buy another one anyway. Do you use? Yeah. So in USA, you have to be a member of USA Cycling. You can't. You know what I mean? You can't not be. For sure, Brian. Anything is better than nothing with power meters. To a certain point, you just got to make sure that you're using it. You know what I mean? And if you lose confidence in your power meter, so if your power meter tells you weird things and you lose confidence in that number is lying to you, you're not going to use the power meter right. So, any faults with your Kinetic trainer? Dude, that trainer is... is it... Where? Can you see it? Whatever. There you go. The Kinetic trainer is so awesome. It is the way it like rocks side to side. It makes for long trainer rides very easy. The power arc on it seems to be based on how tight I tension down the wheel. So sometimes if I don't like push the roller against the wheel hard enough, then there's sort of this little bubble of power that sort of like gets away from what is accurate. But other than that, everything's it's an awesome trainer, man. You know. Dude. So what else? What else? I've got a bunch of videos coming up. I have a Power Tap review that I'm going to put up tomorrow. It's a little long. I kind of got carried away in it. But Power Tap review, I have two group ride breakdowns, which are a lot of fun. They were really cool. I've got a race cast for the most recent circuit race. I've got a vlog I'm working on right now. I want to do a video on how to like get confidence in the pack, or like learning how to ride in a group, not just racing, but just riding in a group. because there's some like little things that I have done or will do that help with that, just in like bike handling and control. So that's something I want to do, because I want to do. I haven't done like a tutorial type video in a while. You know what I mean, like a how-to or like a discussional video. A lot of them just been racing or vlogs. So I want to get back to doing something like that. My next race, Brian asked me my next race. My next race may be Turlock this Saturday, but it's supposed to rain, and it rained last year, and I don't know. Have you ever heard of the PowerPod $300 power meter that attaches to your bars? I can pretty much already tell you that that's not worth the money. A power meter that attaches to your bars, there's no way that that's correct. There's no way that's correct. You know. Have you done the climb to Kaiser? I did. I did the climb to Kaiser my first year of riding. And I forgot my shoes. So I roll up to the start, and it was literally like a nightmare where you wake up and you have no clothes on. I'm on the start line, and I look down and I'm in my tennis shoes. I'm just like, no. So then I jumped in the car and I raced home and I got my shoes, and then and the thing about Climb to Kaiser is everyone leads out the first like hour, and they're just rail like 30 miles an hour out to the first climb, and I missed that train. I did it in 12 hours flat, and that's like a legit 12 hours because I had no drafting from the start to I was just solo pretty much the whole time. Did 12 hours. Was at 155 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing. What's funny is that when I was coming back, I could go right, and my house was right there, or I had to go left and do like an extra 2 miles back to the finish. 2 miles. I've already done, so then like 153 miles in, and I literally almost just went F it and just went home because I didn't want to ride a single pedal more. Since that time that I finished the Climb to Kaiser, I no longer really pay for rides. It's like $100 to do that ride. And I don't eat the dinner. That's the thing about rides. Big group rides, when they're like paid for, they have this elaborate dinner and all these rest stops that I don't partake in. I don't want some barbecue meal after it, right? And so I know the last time I went to do the Climb to Kaiser, they got really mad. They said, if you didn't pay, don't be here at all, which was kind of a bummer because I like to ride with everyone. I'm not eating your food. I'm not participating really in your event. I'm just cruising around. James, sorry, man. Ask a question. Dude, it's hard. It's hard sometimes to read the questions. James, if you ask your question, I'll answer it. DC Rainmaker tested the PowerPod. I've seen some really cool stuff from DC Rainmaker. Cycling Maven Challenge. I challenged him that one like to do a video type thing, and that didn't. He's busy. Other kits besides the fruit kit. So I have a Mountain Man kit that I want to do. It's like partial flannel, like sort of like blue flannel in gray. It's gonna be pretty sick. So that's gonna be that'll probably be a like special edition kit. I really want to work something out with Allele though, where it's like, I don't know, I have more control over it. Chris says, can you talk about YouTube fame, being a bit of a celebrity and all that? I do love my flannel. So the YouTube fame is super weird, right? It's super weird. It's super weird because I shouldn't be famous. There's no reason to be. It's almost like a Kim Kardashian type thing, right? Like, just because I put these videos on YouTube doesn't make me a great cyclist, doesn't increase my FTP. And so, you know, there are just times, man, where you want to go to a race and duck out and I don't know, man, just not really, you didn't do well, and so you don't want anyone to know about it. I don't have that luxury anymore. But dude, it's so amazing to have, I don't know, how do I say it? It's like, I don't want to say it gives my life purpose. But it I don't know, man, it sort of just like adds everything to my life, has this like extra level of awesomeness. So when I go to a race and I show up and people are pumped to see me, that makes me feel really good. It obviously adds a ton of pressure onto me, but you know, I'm just a normal dude, man. Like, I'm not anything special or crazy, and that sometimes is like a weird thing, right? When someone, okay, so most of you know a lot about my life, yet I don't know anything about your life. And so that interaction sometimes is kind of weird, because you'll talk to someone, it's like they're talking to you as someone that they know, but I don't know them at all. And so then I want to know them, and I try my best to engage in like a natural way. But so, you know, I can't, what's crazy is I don't have very much subscribers, right? I'm not like super popular, and whatever I have is only directed into one industry, cycling. So I kind of like see that little sliver of like, man, what is like a legitimate celebrity? What is their life like? Well, how much pressure is on them? And if you're known all the time and you can't even go to the store without like swarms of people, man, that'd be a bummer. But I'm not complaining, dude. I love the fame. I love the fame. Hey, that guy, James, I've like skipped his question, and Tony's right now saying, I never used a 29 or a compact crank, and I've done the climb to Kaiser with Tyler a couple times. So, to me, a 36 28 can get me up any climb. Now, when I do the Everest, I'll probably do a smaller gear ratio just because of the time in the RPMs, right? Like, but it also depends on your power and how much power you're able to produce, right? So for me, you know, 250 watts is not an issue. Like, I can definitely push 250 watts all day long. And so my cadence at 36:28 is probably on a regular steep hill is like 70, right? Or 80. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But if you maybe weren't able to push that kind of power, or you were really heavy, then man, that would be hard, right? Because you don't want to be grinding at like 50 RPM. So, how has your day been? My every day is awesome. I'm taking pictures right now for like a off-road part, so I'm having to. That's kind of my main focus right now is taking these product pictures. So that's kind of neat because it's something I don't usually do, and so it's sort of like different than my normal day thing. Do you prefer high cadence spinning or low cadence? Well, so I was just looking at my cadence actually for the most recent race, and dude, it's all like 90 to 100, and I'm not even thinking about it. So I like high cadence. I like overly high cadence. It takes a little getting used to, but I dig. But then also I also like low cadence. So I'll do high cadence for a while, and then you kind of get over it. So then you click way down, and it just changes it up. Then I stand and I'll do like 60 RPMs or something like that. Just kind of switch it up. But in racing, I'm not thinking about it at all. I'm just racing, and I'm often will average 90 to 100 RPMs for an hour race. You know? I have a crit race tomorrow and haven't had a rest day in more than a week. You know, I mean, that's a good question from my coach, Tony. But so I would say ride today. Just because the way that my body works is that I always want to ride the day before race or ride as much up to the race. So even if I've ridden 10 days in a row, just as long as they're like easy, just to keep that like that physical process going. Because as soon as you start to take days off, for me, my body goes into recovery mode. And I can totally feel my body like shifting its energy utilization processes into healing versus like production of power. So, but there, Tony, ATP Coaching says just ride easy. Do you have any advice for a teenager cyclist living in a city? Well, I wasn't a teenager cyclist, and I've never lived in a city, so I don't know anything about that. Any thoughts on my call and IndyPac? So I do want to kind of talk about this for a second because I posted a lot of videos sort of in that span, and I was sort of on I had a bunch of videos, so I was just like banging them out. And then when that tragedy happened, I was like, okay, what do I do here? Do I, one, post a video that has nothing to do with it, just like an upbeat video, I just go along with my normal day? Or do I acknowledge this? Do I acknowledge what happened? Do I make a video specially for that? And here's why I made the decision to not do that, is that, one, I don't know my call at all. I have no real connection to the IndyPac. And so I felt as if I was going to make a video on that. It was sort of a zeitgeisty thing. Everyone was like interested in it. It was sort of a trending thing. And so I really did not want to benefit at all from that, right? I did not want to jump on the bandwagon of talking about him or saying anything about that tragedy because I had no place to say anything. And so I just posted my normal videos. I just went on. I didn't really say anything about it because I felt like I didn't have a place to say. But I have been, dealing with tragedy in cycling is a thing. During the slow training camp, we were like 2 minutes ahead of a guy who died. Our group went down a hill, and then a guy died right behind us. You know what I mean? I've been on other rides that climbed to Kaiser. A guy died like right behind me. So how I deal with tragedy and that sort of thing is, dude, you just can't think about it. You just can't think about it. I do what I can and what I can control. I don't really cook it down to cents. Right? I go like 70% on descents just because that's where a lot of times people will end their lives on a descent because they get out of control. And, so I really keep that kind of calm. And then I try to ride during the day. You know what I mean? It's very rare that I'm riding it morning or night. And I've seen a lot of times where people ride like 5 in the morning and dude, that's when stuff happens. I'm very conscious about when I turn around. I do this like triple check. I like look over my shoulder like 3 times and I'll literally say to myself, left clear, right clear, left clear, right clear. And then I go. And you know what I mean? So I don't know, but you just can't think about it. If you thought about all the bad things that could potentially happen, you just stay inside. And then you die of being sedentary. So dude, you just control what you can and live your life, man. Is there an optimal number of days a week you should be doing intervals? Do you or your family get blood work? So Chris, it's Chris talking. My wife has gotten her blood work done maybe 10 times. She got a lot of her blood work done for pregnancy. But she also got her blood work done because she was feeling very like lethargic, very not energy. And so she was thinking it was her B12 or like hormones or whatever. And she got her blood done so many times, and the only thing that they said was that her triglycerides were low. What was funny is that the doctor said, "Hey, your triglycerides are a little low. You should pull back on the red meat." And she's like, "I'm vegan, or vegetarian." You know what I mean? She's like, "I don't eat red meat." So the only thing that my wife's blood work showed was just a lack of exercise, pretty much. But everything was fine. Mine, I just recently got mine done, and I probably should do a video on it, but I don't know. Nothing was low. Not everything was in the normal range. I eat B12 tablets. I'm not super strict on it. I'll go 5 days eating them, and then I might skip a couple days. But the B12 shots, I haven't seen anything that says the shot is better than a tablet. You know what I mean? So, you know. Any tips on how to not let your mind pull you down during very long races? Yeah, that's hard, right? Man, your mind is so important. You've got several motors. You have your muscular motor, you have your anaerobic motor, like your heart, and then you have your mental motor. And that takes a level of training as well. So what I do, because I think my mental motor is very, very weak comparatively, and so what I'll do is just take little chunks, right? I'll just make, so say that the race is 90 miles. I try not to even look at distance or time as long as I can, and then as soon as I do, I'll go, okay, let's just make it 10 miles, or let's make it 5 miles. Let's make it to this turn. You know, try to just almost also go in like autopilot. So, I don't know, it's hard, man. It just takes practice, for sure. So, the suggestions on vitamin and supplements, I don't really do any vitamins other than B12, just because I'd rather take it through real food. And the amount of kale and spinach and beets and broccoli and carrots and potatoes, I mean, that stuff all has, I think, the macronutrients I need. Protein, I get broccoli and beans and rice. And so, you know what I mean? But I feel fine. I mean, there's nothing that I would say, man, I need to feel different or better or whatever. So, my pre-race meal, it depends on the race. A longer race, I'll try to like consume a lot of hard food. A short race, just like a smoothie or juice, something kind of light but with sugar. Yosemite weather, good in May. Hopefully. But yeah, I mean, so a month from now, it's probably going to be between 70 degrees at the highest point and possibly even like 85 at the low point. So the weather is going to be, the low point being elevation. So the weather is going to be phenomenal. Flaxseed, I drink flaxseed milk, and then chia seeds has omega-3s. So that's how also I get that. What's the current bike you're riding? Lineback. Dude, so that cycling camp, it's sold out in less than 12 hours. Right? I mean, just bananas. And I wish that I could open up more. And I'm so tempted to be like, get a second house and open up more spots And the reason I'm not going to do that is that this is like its inaugural event. It's like a test event. And so I want to make sure that I keep it small, 10 people, and that I can control that. I don't want to get into a situation where I lose control over the whole camp and someone flew from the East Coast and is like, this sucks, right? So, but I will definitely be doing this again. The camp, I mean, so far, everything's looking so amazing. It's going to be fantastic. So epic. And so I'll probably do 2 a year here in Yosemite, and then Tony is he's going to Penn State to get his doctorate, and so we were kind of kicking around maybe doing an East Coast camp as well. I know that Yosemite is like a destination, right? So everyone wants to come and do Yosemite. But I'm sure that we could find some just as awesome places over on the East Coast to do a cycling camp there. So if I did like 3 cycling camps in the year, 2 here in Yosemite and 1 on the East Coast, that'd be sick, right? But I gotta like figure out how all the logistics work. As of right now, I'm not trying to make any money off of it. I'm just trying to like see if this works, and then kind of evaluate some sort of business plan around that, around the successful venture of this. So yeah, man. Little Drummer says, first crit on Sunday. Good job, dude. I'm super stoked for you. The advice is just to race as hard as you can, man. I think that for everyone, that's raced that's raced before, that first race is difficult. But what I see when someone races first time is a lot of times they'll drop off so quickly because they just assume that pace is going to be the pace that's held the entire race, and that's not it. The pace is super surgy. Okay, so you just sort of need to be in that situation of like, look, just go as hard as I can until I am muscular failure. Because if that's your mindset, like just make it 1 minute. A lot of times the pace will slow down, then you'll recover and you'll sort of get in the flow of things. Because what's crazy is people get dropped in the first 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty rare in a flat crit, that you'll get dropped anywhere past like the 20 or 30 minute mark. So San Rafael is a really fast crit here. It's really pretty technical because of all the 90-degree turns and how fast you're going. And it's like, dude, you make it 15 minutes and you're good. But that first 15 minutes, I don't care how strong you are just like, as hard as you can. And so yeah, I don't know. Just go all out, man. Pedal till you puke. Yeah, everyone is suffering. That's one thing. It's like where you say, if you're suffering, most likely everyone else is suffering just as bad. I hear that sometimes, but then other times, man, I'll look back at people's faces and they're just like, no big deal. What's up, buddy? I look back at Chaz. Chaz has the best poker face ever. That guy will not breathe hard at all, right? And so I'm on the front. Like we'll be I remember we were doing a climb one time, and I was just going all in. And I look back, and he's just. And I'm just like, dude, how is this guy? I'm like 700 watts right now, and he's just it's not even phasing him. And then as soon as like I stop, he goes, "Oh my goodness, I almost just got dropped." And it's like, what, dude? I couldn't even tell at all from your face. But Tony, when I'm riding with Tony, I can hear him about to blow. Hashtag no homo. I can hear him about to explode into pieces because he is like. Just on the rivet, and he's breathing really, really hard, and then that gives me this sort of like encouragement to keep going. Like I know that I'm doing damage to him, and so if he wasn't suffering externally, I might not know where he's at. I wouldn't know where he's at, and so I wouldn't know to keep pushing just a little bit longer. So if you can work on your suffer face or your outward suffer show. Yeah. Yeah. So Tony says that if he knows that I'm working hard, and then he'll like attack. What's weird is that when Tony's on the front and dictating his own pace, I literally feel like I'm about to drop at any moment. I am just tongue in the spokes, thinking, man, how is this, 200-pound sprinter just about to drop me on a climb? But then when I go to the front and I'm on the pace, like I'm dictating the pace, and then all of a sudden, man, I feel way fresh, totally changes. Do you ever fake heavy breathing in a race to skip taking a pool? I've tried to not take pulls, and I get yelled at, man. I get yelled at hard. So I don't often skip pulls. But I don't fake breathe hard at all, man. I'm breathing hard. Go finish that homework, bro. Get it done. Do you still ride the felt? One of the main reasons I got the diamond bike was that my felt was shook. It needs a new bottom bracket. It needs new everything, a whole new driveline, new chain, new sprocket, new cogs, and so I don't know. I need to redo everything. It needs new brake pads. So I don't ride it because it's kind of busted right now, but I'll fix it up and then I'll ride it. So. Chris, so Tony is out there. We're on the group ride, and you'll see it in the breakdown because I filmed it all. You don't really see Tony though because he's behind me. But so me and this guy just crush this climb and drop everyone, and Tony's just like telling us that I'm having a heart attack. I can't feel my arms. I can't pull, right? And he can't do anything, right? Tony's just making all his excuses, not pulling at all, and then like super recovers, and then. And now we have this mega sprinter with us, but he didn't win. He did not win the ride. So you got to stay tuned to see how that all played out because it's funny. So Tony tried to juke us and juked himself. Sean says you're making me want to go vegan. Dude, you don't even have to go vegan. You don't have to put a label on it. Just start eating more plants. And less flesh. Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. Eat less meat and dairy and more plants, and you'll be off to the races, dude. You'll be doing great. It's a slow process. Uh, 600 watts for a minute. Well, so on that climb, the climb that we did on the group, I did 615 watts for like a minute and 15 seconds. So 600 plus watts for just over a minute. That was a good effort. And then sustained, and then we just kept going. I was like 390 watts at about 5 minutes. And that's pretty good. And this is in the group ride we just did, the race group ride. That's pretty good because of the pulling, right? So it was really surgy. So that was, you know what I mean? So I kind of started this off on what I do for a living and all that stuff. I did not go to college. I dropped out of high school. I'm not recommending that for people, you know what I mean? Don't think that dropping out of high school is for everybody. But it's what I did. And so, I work for myself. I build websites for the e-commerce industry and also have a data transfer business between manufacturers and dealers. It's legitimate. It's good stuff. I mean, I'm able to make my own hours for the most part. You know what I mean? This guy said, I went vegan for Lent. It's difficult to think about all of the ingredients in food and if they contain any animal products. Does this become easier over time? Yeah. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, I guess the only reason you'd be worried about food and having animal products is if they're processed or not. And so most of my food that I eat is not really that processed. I don't do a lot of packaged food. And so, you know, real fruit, real veggies, potato, rice. I mean, you know that doesn't have an animal in it, right? So that's kind of easy. What nationality are you? White as pig. I've been vegan for 20 plus years and know people that I'm talking about when I tell them. What? I've been vegan for 20 plus years and know people, and now people know what I'm talking about when I tell them. Oh. Got it. Yeah, because a lot of people don't really know what vegan is. And that's sometimes kind of scary at a restaurant. Tony Wolf was just at we went to dinner after race, and he kind of like, it's funny because when you're not vegan, you just think of vegans as super annoying at the restaurant. Like, why do you always have to ask? Like, look, you're the steakhouse, bro. Forget it. They don't have any vegan stuff for you. Get a salad, punk. You know what I mean? But when you are vegan, it's kind of frustrating because you want to eat, and then they go, okay, we got this thing for you. And then you sort of have to be like, are you sure it's vegan? Like, tell me how you made this, right? Because a lot of times they will go, hey, it's not vegan because it doesn't have a steak on top of it, but it does have shrimp and milk and eggs and butter. You're like, okay. You know what I mean? So that's kind of sometimes. Some vegans eat fish and chicken. So that's like pescatarian. Because a vegan is no animal products whatsoever. Not even wearing them, right? Like, no leather, no anything, which obviously I almost feel like there is no possible way to be technically vegan because there's like glycerin in the roads, right? Which is like has animal fat. My phone is ringing. Hold on. Whoops, phone ringing. Oh man, did that mess it up? Urgh. Are we good? Okay. Okay, so what back to is like, if you were gonna be technically vegan across the board, man, there's so many things you'd have to give up in the way of like, is my house vegan? You know what I mean? And then then I guess the people who built my house, are they vegan? You know what I mean? There's all these like this gray area, right? This spectrum of when do you have to draw the line to go, okay, I'm okay with animals dying at this point, which is, you know, it's a known thing. Like deer, like baby fawns, will get mangled up in harvests of soy and corn and that sort of thing. So it's like, you know, I mean, you're not gonna look. Animals are gonna die, right? Animals are gonna die. Life feeds life, and so I think it really comes down to your intention. Is your intention to willingly support an industry that just, man, is really, really bad on animals? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I think that as long as your intention is positive and good about just life in general, man, like, cool, right? Like, that's a good way to go. So, I don't know. Kind of gone off into a tangent. No, it's not $2,000 for P1 pedals. It's $1,200. $2,000? No way. In Canada, it's $2,000. Bummer. What music does the VC like? I like super bumpy rap. Like Rap Nation. I like rap a lot. You know what I mean? That's what I like. What do I think of the, what's her name, Corinne, winning the American Flanders? That's super awesome. I don't really follow the women's side that much. I'm not that I don't enjoy it. I just watch whatever I can see on YouTube. I mean, some of the women's racing is super legit, dude. There's Hannah Moogie. I did an interview with her, dude. She's insane, and Allison Tektrick just came out to one of the circuit races, and Hannah just destroyed the field, man, and destroyed her. And so, I mean, watching Hannah just completely destroy the P1 women's field is amazing. And she's going to be in the Tour of California, in the women's. So like that's super sick. I hope that she gets some recognition for that. What camera do you use to shoot videos? I don't have it down here right now, but it's a Sony A7. Sony A7. Can you make a Spotify playlist? Man, I really want to. And what I want to do is for the client, my Everesting challenge, is I want to do a playlist of everything that I will be listening to. And then I want to try to do some sort of live bit, just like Jens did when he did his hour record, where like you could listen to his playlist, like listen along with what he listened to. I think that'd be kind of neat. So, but yeah, man. I dig for music. I dig the rap. You guys ever do the Chili ride in Sanger? That's far. How many people go out to the Chili ride anymore? Remember that used to be a thing. Do you like racing with a team or as an individual? Well, right now I'm on a team, but race as an individual. Racing with a team, especially if like you dig those dudes, it's a game changer. There's cycling, then there's racing, and then there's racing with a team. And they're three completely different things. When you have a team around you, or you're a part of a team, it is so phenomenal. I can't tell you how amazing it is, because it takes, one, all the pressure off you, and then it's like, dude, go up the road and go as hard as you can, and then go home. You know what I mean? Just that's it. That's your job. Counterattack, and you feel so productive at the end of a race because you did something for the greater good, right, of the team. And when you race as an individual, it's just really difficult because if you miss the move, it's your fault. You have no one to fall back on. You have no one to go, well, hey, at least my teammate made the move, right? It's always your fault. So it's I don't know. Michael David has been really good to me, but I really would love to be on a team that is that has a lot of guys that I could share the work with. My motor, I feel like, is much more suited to being a domestique. You know what I mean? Let me get on the front and drill it for the last 2 laps to help out with the lead out. Let me get on the front and bring back this breakaway. Let me get in a breakaway and destroy myself to help my team. Let me do those things. That's what I want. So, you know what I mean? What's up, teams? Let me ride for you. For me, what is the hardest part of going vegan? Okay, what is the hardest part for me going vegan was the social aspect. 100%. 100% it's the social aspect. It is, it is the part where you no longer get to share in barbecues or these feasts, these events, Thanksgiving, Christmas meals. I mean, you get to eat and you get to hang out with those people, but it's different. It does change, for sure. And so then also, like, if I wanted to have a big old barbecue and have people come up to my house, if you're offering them, you know, dead animals wrapped with other dead animals, like, dude, they're there, they're on it. But when you say, hey, let's, you know, I'm gonna have a really nice vegan meal, a lot of them don't come. You know, I had Darren from Cortex, when he was on Cortex, he switched teams. He came up, I had a couple other guys come up, and we rode this really awesome route, and I was like, I'm gonna have this awesome vegan dinner afterwards. And these two other people that came up said they were gonna do it. They were like, hey, yeah, we'll come and we'll eat the dinner. And so my wife prepared this really big dinner, and we you know, put a lot of work into it. And then before the ride ended, the other two people just like bailed out. They just ducked off the pace and got in their car and left. And I was like, where are you guys? You know, I've got dinner ready. And then they were just like, we're not really comfortable with that. We don't really believe in veganism. And it was just like, man, you wouldn't even, one, I cooked it all, right? And then it's like, you're not even gonna try it? Like, you're not even gonna like show up. It's just, I can't even handle not having meat. That's kind of a bummer. You know what I mean? And so then, and then also when you talk to them, I don't know, I feel like they're on the defensive. They're just like, yo, you're gonna hit me with that vegan propaganda, you know? That's hard part. But all of the food-wise, nutrition-wise, to me, it's just, dude, you follow the performance. Follow the trail of performance. You'll get hooked. Yes, they do not believe in plants. Plants don't exist, bro. Have you, how long have I been vegan? For, I think I'm going on 4 years. What's cool is that I started the Vegan Cyclist channel basically 2 months after going vegan, I think. Right? Very shortly after going vegan, I started it. So it's kind of like that progression. And, man, hey, here's the thing. I know it's really hard to stay vegan. I know a lot of people who have bailed on the vegan or vegetarian, which to me, I don't understand. I don't know how you could go full and then revert back. To me, in my mind state, we could never get there. I would never be able to go back. But you know what I mean? Like, I also have the channel. So that I dug my feet in on this one. I can't, how could I ever come to you guys and be like, I'm the vegan-ish cyclist? I don't know. Maybe that stops me from ever even considering changing. But Thanksgiving for them is all turkey, no mashed potatoes. Well, what's crazy about Thanksgiving and mashed potatoes is, like, you don't have to have milk, butter, and cheese in mashed potatoes. I make some mean mashed potatoes. No milk, no cheese, no butter. They're delicious, you know? So you don't have to smother your green beans in butter. You don't have to do that. But when Thanksgiving, man, it's just like I think you have an idea of like, look, butter equals awesome. And so I want this to be more awesome. So then I add more butter. It doesn't have to be that way. But the most recent Thanksgiving that I went and did, I had tofurkey for the first time, and it was pretty good. You know, highly processed. But I don't know, I guess I felt a little more connected, but it's just, you know, you're not partaking in the same thing as they are. So it would be like me going out to a bike race, but on like an e-bike and riding around. Yeah, I'm riding with you guys, you know, but we're not doing the same thing. And I think that that's kind of the biggest hurdle, right? Aero bike, but aluminum, or carbon bike, non-aero, same price. I think carbon. I just like futuristic stuff. I would just go with carbon. You know what I mean? Do you ever close your eyes when diving in a tight corner in a crit? Or is that just me? Okay, Chris, make sure to not be next to you. Chris has just got his eyes closed in the crit. Don't do that. You know, I do get pretty sketched out. And so in the most recent race that we did in Visalia, it was a fast race, tight turns, and a lot of the guys were just, man, battling up front. You had to hold your line hard. You had to be taking risks every single turn. And I wasn't willing to take those risks. Just flat out was not willing to do it. And so towards the end of the race, I just moved to the back because what you get is like a spear at the front and then a bubble and then a spear at the back. And the spear at the back, you can swoop your turns, and it's super efficient back there. At a certain point of the race, like early on in the race, you get the accordion effect. But at the end of the race, the pace is pretty set, and so I would able to just take my own turns, and I kind of just stayed back there, man. Because when I go up front, like I was having to just be right on people, and there was a wreck. I narrowly avoided the wreck. It's on footage, you know what I mean. And so, yeah, dude, I don't know. You gotta those tight turns, man. You gotta just be. There's a mode where you go, you know what, F it, right? And I wasn't in that mode. I didn't want to do that, especially after I saw the wreck. I saw the wreck and I was like, ugh. Because here's the thing: is if I wrecked and for whatever reason messed up my hand, I would not be able to work. I wouldn't be able to hold the mouse and design stuff, and that would. That'd be scary. Are you racing this weekend? I may race Turlock, but it's supposed to rain. And last year, it was a 90-mile rain fest. So, we'll see. You're near Bass Lake? I'm in Bass Lake. And I love living here. Going so fast. Are there 3 inches of steer tube above your stem? Yes. So I've got the stem is a lot, right? That's a lot of stem. A little chode of stem. Why I have not cut this down is that I'm gonna get some arrow bars from 3T. I just spoke to 3T today on the phone. So we're going to work together a little bit on some stuff. And they're going to send me some super sick arrow bars. And I don't know how much I'll have to cut. So if I cut this now, it might be... I can't uncut it, right? So with the 3T bars... My dogs are going crazy. With the 3T bars, I'll need some left. But also, the GoPro... Like, look how perfect that is. That's a perfect little spot for the GoPro. So, I honestly don't know where I'm going to put my GoPro when I get the arrow bars, though. Because it's super flat. That's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing, too. I got to handle my dogs. What are they doing? Dogs. The GoPro mounts is the regular mount. Can you use so that not TT bars, just arrow crit bars? Will the iterating bar and stem of 3 check out the Shimano Pro stem cap mounts. Yeah, it's the integrated bar and stem from 3T. That's what. Yeah, but so the K Edge, it's not like that. It's a flush thing that you like put your Garmin in. And why arrow bars? One, they just look super sick, and I kind of want this to be like my crit I want that to be my full race bike. And then I want to make the felt my like training bike. You know? So, my dogs are barking because we have a 800-pound bear that hangs out at our house. 800 pounds. A bear. Now he's like domesticated, kinda, so he doesn't like trip out on anybody. But the other night, I went to go get my GoPro out of the car. I walked out on the patio, it's night, and he's just like mowing through my trash cans. And I'm standing maybe like 10 feet from this 800-pound bear. And he just looks at me. And I've never been so scared. And I was just like backing up. And then I backed up through my door and then I closed the door. But my front door is all glass. So he like walks over and he's just kind of checking me out. And I'm just staring through the glass at this huge bear. So he comes every night, wrecks our trash. I put the trash in the garage, and he pried open our garage door and got it. And then the asshole, after destroying our trash and leaving it everywhere, then he takes a huge dump right in our driveway. Thank you, bear. It's a brown bear. It's not a grizzly. It's not a grizzly. But it's big, dude. It's so big. Hey, Scotty says I'm scared of raccoons. True story, okay? We moved with the day we moved here. I think it was maybe the first or second night we moved in here. It's the middle of the night, 2 in the morning, and my dogs are just going crazy. And I hear like a slam in so in our bedroom we have a door to like a little patio, but then there's like a sliding glass or a sliding door. So we have that open. Door open, sliding door. Raccoon opens the sliding door. It slams open. The dogs are freaking out. So I wake up and I got 3 dogs chasing something in my room, and it's a freaking raccoon. And so I've got like 3 dogs and a raccoon running around my room at 2 in the morning, and I'm just like, what is happening? And then the raccoon bounced out and crazy. But yeah, I have a bear. Why don't you use the stock HED wheels? I do. I use them for training. I run the HED wheels for training, for sure. I just have these on because why do I have them on? Oh, I raced Sunday. I didn't ride Monday. And then on Tuesday, I was just too lazy to swap out the wheels and just rode those. Pet the bear. Honestly, dude, I was close enough that I probably could have pet the bear. But I'm trying to get mauled in the face, dude. Hey VC, I recently read an article and thought of you. It argues large changes in diet are easier to maintain than small changes. Do you think that's true? Well, I'm going to pull a Tony on this one. It depends. It depends. I mean, so much of it depends, right? What do you mean by a large change and a small change? I think, obviously, I went with the largest change in your diet that you could. But that was like a slow build up to a like singularity, right? And then the big change. So I think that there's like certain small steps that you have to take to be ready to make that big change. If you make no small steps and you just go, I'm eating a cow's face tonight and I'm gonna eat broccoli tomorrow and that's that. I don't know, man. It's going to be really hard for you to do it. If you have no other context, if you have nothing else no other like arrows in your quiver. You know what I mean? So small changes to prep you for a big change, I think that's good. How worth is it to invest in a set of training wheels? Well, it depends on how much you race, I guess, but having a set of training wheels is awesome. because you don't have to go through rubber as fast. You can have like crappy rubber on your training wheels and good rubber on your, you know what I mean? I'm freaking out about that Russia just launched a nuclear missile. That like caught me off guard. I was like, what? Have you used Trainer Road on rollers? No, I haven't used Trainer Road at all. Know what I mean? The Zwift is so sick. I've been doing Zwift. If you haven't Zwift raced, Zwift race. Zwift racing is awesome. The intensity that you get out of it, I think, is really important because it forces you to just smash. I really like Zwift. Will that DB discount last forever? So far, yeah. I mean, it's not. It's yeah. I don't know when. It's not like a temporary thing. If you use corporate code vegan, uppercase vegan, on their partner site, they also have like bigger discounts. So when I got my DB, it was like, yeah, it was like 60% off or something. Right now it's 40% off all their stuff, but they have, I think, mountain bikes right now like 50% off. It's kind of crazy. It's like a friends and family thing. I don't know if it will last forever. If a bunch of people use it, they might shut it down. You know, if they're like, yo, 100 people just picked up a DB at 50% off, then they might revoke my code. But you know, do you have any problems with the Power Tap pedal so far, like with inaccuracies? No, I just did a video. I'll publish it tomorrow morning about my review on the pedals. I love them. Now, the thing with the pedals was that when I first got them, the batteries were bad in them, and I was trying to run their Power Tap heart rate strap, and all of those things together made for a really bad experience. But once I put better batteries into the pedals and got rid of their proprietary heart strap and just went with like a regular heart strap, I've had zero issues. It's never once lost like power reading. Super consistent. It took me a little while to get used to how those read though, because it reads about 20 watts higher than my stages, and so you kind of have to readjust your zones, right? So, but I love my pedals, man. I love those Power Tap pedals. I didn't at first. I gotta be honest. I was really frustrated with them at first, but that was kind of on me. But now I dig them. Dig them. Zero problems. I think I'm going to start doing videos on my channel. You've inspired me as well as the chat by asking and answering questions. Dude, YouTube is so amazing, right? Putting up videos, I think, as long as your goal is to not be popular, you know, like if your goal is to be YouTube famous, that probably is not going to be the best way to go. Your goal should just be to like create a library of videos that you like to see or that you want to see later on, or you know, whatever, or even just to house and store your cool riding videos. I think that's the way to do it. And then, man, if your stuff is awesome and people start to dig it, then you can like kind of look at that in the future as like, wow, this is cool. But I think everyone should post a lot of their stuff on YouTube. I'm solely YouTube. I Netflix a little bit. I watch Game of Thrones. That's not on Netflix though. I just pirate Game of Thrones. What do I watch on Netflix? The dude with Kevin Spacey. What's that one? The government one. I watched that one. What's your FTP? I think right now it's almost 340 ish. I think I don't know. I think I did 360 watts for 20 minutes just recently. Is my best. It wasn't really a 20-minute power. I think it was during during a Zwift race or something. So I don't know how accurate that is, but definitely I think right now for sure I could go out on the road and hold 360 for 20 minutes, maybe even a little more. House of Cards. House of Cards. I got kind of hooked into that one. If I am a podium finisher or mountain bike racer, I lost it. Do you think U18 road race? I think you should race anything, compete in anything. It doesn't matter, man. Mountain bike, track, road, crits. If you compete in everything, you know you're gonna get a little bit of everything. You're gonna have a little bit of benefit in all of it. But maybe that's just me, dude. I super dig competing. So the engineer says I may be doing the Turlock road race. I might make my decision last minute. I might make my decision Friday night. We'll see. It's gonna rain. I don't want to get rained on. If I do a cycling camp, would minors be allowed to come? So there was a 17-year-old that was gonna come. And I'm fine with it as long as your parents are cool with it. I think maybe like 16 probably needs to be the cut. Just because, like, if you're 14, I don't know what kind of liability I'd be under. That'd be hard. But I'm down for 16, 17, whatever. Do you like crits, road races better? I think I like crits better. Road races are... I like crits better, but with a road race, you could potentially get into a really long, big breakaway, and that would be what I'd be probably better at, is getting in a really long race breakaway. But some of the road races around here, just the guys that compete are just like, ugh, so fast. Don't drop your towel, dude.
I know.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for Mama's charger to charge your phone.
I have no clue where it is. It's right there. Do you see it on the? It's plugged into her computer. Do you see the green? Do you see the computer? Are you more of a climber or sprinter? Dude, I'm neither, man. I'm neither of anything. I'm kind of just like an all-arounder. So I climb decent. I probably time trial decent. Everything's just middle of the road. That's why I would do really well for a team, because I could help them in all sorts of, different metrics. What's your thoughts on applying tube glue to untubulars? Dude, I've seen too many crazy accidents happen with tubulars. No thanks. Clinchers for me, bro. I just didn't know if going vegan would bring me even lower. Oh, did I miss your first one? What's your thoughts on the Tabasco chain? I don't know. Is that the one with the one that's supposed to like free up a bunch of watts that they apply something to it? But it's only good for like 100 miles or 200 miles or something crazy. Then the coating's all gone. I don't know. So what else, man? What's your body fat? Well, when I did the cold water immersion study with Tony, I got into like this little egg pod type thing and got like a legit, really accurate body fat percentage. And at the time, I don't feel like I was peaked training wise, so I was probably 1% fatter than I probably could be. But I think I was like 8. I was lean. So the chart says, you know, there's like way too lean, which is like 4% and lower, and then there's like 5 to 6 and to 7 or something. 5 to 7 was like super lean, and I was just on the border of super lean and lean. So, how did the Diamondback sponsorship come about? It's kind of, it's not a, I don't know. So I guess I'll chat about sponsorships just for a second. I kind of wanted to do a whole, hold on, let me block that dude. Okay, so let's talk about sponsorships, because a couple people, I know I get a lot of heat sometimes in videos where they're like, "Oh, this is sponsored content. You're a sellout," that sort of thing. I don't agree with selling out. Okay, so for sure, I think that you got to be really careful with that type of thing, because if you sell out, especially to something you don't believe in, then no one can trust you anymore. And that's the problem with sponsorships and YouTube, is people go, okay, what is your real thoughts on this, right? I've never been paid by a company. I don't take money. There has been opportunities where people have offered cash for review, and I don't do it. That to me, that's a conflict of interest. It would not be worth the money to basically taint my name with that. And so what I do is I actively pursue companies that I believe in and that I want to be a part of, and show them what I have as a YouTube following and that sort of thing. And I mean, again, I don't make a lot of money off YouTube. So whatever perks I can pull from this to help me, you know, I don't know, see justification in spending an absorbent amount of hours creating videos, I think is that. POC, right? I have a deal with POC, and I went to them. I really like POC, flat out, right? And so you know, that was the thing. Nature's Bakery. I used all their stuff. I really like Nature's Bakery, so I approached them. I've had a lot of companies approach me and go, "Hey, can you promote this stupid bike computer?" Like, no, I don't want to do that. Or like, "Hey, check out this cool new bike seat." It's like, no, I don't want that. I don't believe in that. Diamondback, the thing is that I really wanted to have a relationship with a bike company, one that was long, one that was like years in the making. And Diamondback, the guy at Diamondback, the conversations that we had together they were good. They just seemed like a good company and good people to deal with. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of my take on that. And so if you see me promoting a product, it's not because I'm getting paid for it. It's not because I feel obligated to that company to say anything. I mean, I believed in that company before even approaching them or even doing anything with that. So, you know what I mean? So that's my take on that. So what made them do it? YouTube presence? Okay, so one more little quick thing on it. You want to talk about the business side of why dealing with me would be a really good way to go. When I owned my motorcycle business, I ran TV ads, and I had to spend $5,000 a month on television ads just to like shotgun blast out, "Hey, everyone in the town of Clovis, California, do you like motorcycles? Come here." You know? Well, not everyone likes motorcycles. And so you have to pay so much money to just spray everyone. But when a YouTuber has a specific demographic and a specific audience, like you watching this, probably like bicycles, you know, that's a good guess. Then a company could honestly, if they paid me $5,000, $10,000, that would still be probably a return on investment. Obviously, that wouldn't be the case, but sending a product and then having someone genuinely care about that product, and it comes across genuine, dude, that is so much better for them than spending a bunch of money just to spray it out there. So, if you personally wanted to get sponsored or have some sort of relationship, obviously your like social media needs to be super clean and like and sparkly. But if you approach companies and you ask them and you tell them what you can do for them, a lot of times, man, that would be a good win-win situation, win for you and win for the company, because genuine organic conversation about products is better than any TV ad or commercial, right? And that's why I don't try to ever do like commercials, right? So do they just give you free gear? Well, the POC stuff is not. I'm not gonna return that. But all of like the bike stuff, it technically is not mine. You know what I mean? I wouldn't resell it. That would be a really big no-no. You know what I mean? To like get the bike and then resell the bike on eBay. That would be, you can't do that. But so they're 3T. We may do something together where they are gonna let me borrow this Exploro bike, which is like this bike that can fit any wheels, from road wheels to full on like mountain bike wheels. And I might do something really cool with that. And I'd have to return, like I'll have to sign a contract and return that bike to them within X amount of months. How did you bounce back from your knee injury? Dude, it's kind of an ongoing thing, right? It's not really, I wouldn't say that I'm back from my knee injury. It's just not it's not like keeping me from riding right now. But my knee injury is like, it's just always there, man. It's always there. Some days it's bad, and other days it's not. But I've taken a lot of steps to try to mitigate any extra damage. Core training and the physical therapy, which is covered by like health insurance, stretching and rolling and obviously just like thinking about how my knee is tracking. When I was, if you watch the two-man breakaway video that I did, where Alex is behind me, dude, you can see my knees are bowed into the bike, right? They're like, I'm like tucked my knees in, and I guess I'm trying to like get aero, but you can just see that my knees aren't tracking perfectly straight. Both of them are like tucked in, and that's not, I try to often think about pulling them out, because what that does is it puts a weird stress on the outside of my knees, and so already with a knee injury, it's good. Did Cycling Maven ever do a reply video to your challenge? No, I think he didn't do what I wanted him to do. He did like mention me in a vlog and say he did accept it, but I think he just kind of buried it in a vlog somehow, right? So like, Cycling Maven does like a vlog, and then inside that vlog sometimes is some other piece of content. And so I think that he did a mountain bike ride somewhere really neat. And I think technically that was his response to me, but it wasn't very official. I was hoping to get something going with that. But I use the KT tape a lot, and it does help. The KT tape is weird that it works. Because my wife was like, is there medicine in the tape? But it's the small little, it's the marginal gains that pull your knee like in a way that it's not tracking too weird or off-centered but it helps, dude. That KT helps. KT tape helps big time. Tony, my coach, really showed me how to apply it. How much float do you have on your pedals? So the Power Tap pedals are a 3-degree float. Right before I got the pedals, I switched to a 1 degree? Yeah, a 1 degree float on my Shimano, thinking that it would stop me from like my knee moving, but it actually was way worse. And if you don't have your cleats dialed so perfectly, what ends up happening is like your knee you have no way to kind of adjust it on the fly. So I don't recommend the low float. Like 3-degree float is good. 2-degree float, you better take an Allen wrench with you on the rides until you get it completely dialed, because man, you could get riding at 30 miles in and you need to come back home, and if your biomechanics are kind of off, you could end up injuring your knee big time just from that. Cyclists versus drivers. Yeah, dude, that sucks, right? So in where I live, there's no traffic. So you're never really like, the cars aren't pissed. So if you're driving through a ton of traffic and you're just so over it, and you've been, I don't know, stuck in this long line of traffic, and then all of a sudden you hit this road where it's finally open and there's a cyclist in the middle of the road, yeah, maybe you're gonna get pissed, and that sucks. But for me, where I live, it's very rare to have a car pissed at you or mad. But when I was more down in town, dude, I had people throw stuff at me. Tony Wolf and I got into a little altercation with some dude, like pulled a knife on me, put it at my throat. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Guys get so pissed, which is so weird. Like, dude, why? Why are you so pissed? You know? Just chill out, man. But if you have not cycled, if you've never gotten on a bike, it's very difficult for you to understand what is happening. All you see is this person that's out on the road that's meant for cars, and you're going really slow, and now I have to like get over a little bit. It's not anything to justify, but if more people just, I don't know, stopped and like understood that these roads are for all of us to transport on. Like, we're not riding our bikes on the big main highways, right? We're not riding down the one. Sometimes we are, but like for most like huge highways, like, dude, we're not. Those are just for cars. All the other roads, the twisty roads up in the beautiful mountains, man, my taxes pays for that stuff, and I'm going out there enjoying it way more than the cars are. We are vulnerable. How do I go from averaging 16 miles an hour on a ride to 21 miles an hour? Well, go downhill. Go downhill, and you and you're good, man. How much of my Diamondback is modified? Just not much. The wheels and the pedals. That's about it. The bars will be custom here in just a minute. So he'll do the kids triathlon again this year for sure, because it's right by us. I've asked him if he wanted to do other triathlons. And here's kind of where it gets hard, right? How much time do I invest into him versus how much time do I invest into me? And if he showed me a desire, like a real passion, I would end everything that has to do with my life, I would drop it all for him. But we've done a lot of racing. We've done a lot of BMX and motocross and that sort of stuff. And man, the more that I push him on that, I can see the burnout in his eyes. And so I don't want that to be the case. So I will suggest certain things to him. Hey man, there's a triathlon down in Clovis today. You want to go do it? And he'll be like, hey, maybe, yeah, sure. And it's like, nah, dude, that's not like confident enough for me. So I'm gonna go race my bike. I'm gonna go do my thing. But whenever he comes in my office, is like, hey, let's ride right now. I really want to ride. And dude, whatever I'm doing, I drop it and we go do it. So so he'll definitely do another triathlon, the one that's near us. And if he wants to race, man, all he has to do is ask me, and we're there. So this guy, you know, there's something about having like a soulmate. So my wife, how do I explain it? If you've not really been in like a serious relationship or kind of just like a whatever relationship, cheating I guess is like a thing. But it's not, one, we live in the mountains, so like what, some 90-year-old mountain man gonna come up and put it down? Like, no, dude. No, like one, I don't have a lot of competition where I live. And then two, you know what I mean? Dude, we've been through so much together, and we have both agreed. Thank you, Tony, for being here for so long. We've both kind of agreed to each other that like this is our life. Like my life is her life, and her life is my life. And if you can make that agreement to your significant other, which a lot of people don't, and I know people even get married, and they don't ever actually make that commitment of like, look, you are the one. And when you make that commitment to yourself, and you honestly in your mind go, okay, that's it, no more girls, or on the women's side, no more men. Like this is it. This is my family. This is what I'm gonna do. It helps out so much, man. It really, I don't know. It's hard. It's different. I mean, relationships are hard, man, for sure. But gonna block you like a bitch. Yeah. Can you say Sakina Hana? Sakina Hana? Dude, I'm white as they come. I have only failed one class, and that was Spanish. I'm decently intelligent. I have an above average IQ all through school. School all seemed pretty easy, but Spanish, language, that sort of thing, forget it. Can't do it. When will you be a Cat 1? I don't know, man. Honestly, if I ever do get my points, I don't think I want to upgrade to a Cat 1. And the reason to that is that Monterey, the CCCX stuff, you can do a 2-3 and a 1-2. And that makes the traveling so much worth it. You can do 2 races. If you're a 2, you can race against guys that are not quite pro. Once you're a 1, man, if you do 1 only races or P1 races, dude, you are racing against guys that are getting paid to race their bikes. And then you can't do second races. So the advantage of being a 1, I guess going for like a national championship or that sort of thing is something awesome. But I don't know, man. That's not really my goal. My goal is more to have like a successful hobby than I am to be like a profession. So we'll see. I probably don't think I want to upgrade to a 1 because I would still be. What would be different? I would only lose things. I wouldn't really be able to gain anything. You know. I'm gonna be at Sea Otter. I just don't know if I'm gonna race at Sea Otter. Tell the story about the guy who pulled the knife on you. So we are riding up this climb, and this busted like Okie truck, camo, guns racks, busted old truck, and two guys like fully dressed in camo, but not like I'm going hunting camo. Like I live in a trailer in the bottom of a swamp camo. And so then they come past us, and dude, the bike lane's big. We're not in the road at all. We're not bothering anyone. So he comes up past us. Then he's gonna smoke us out. Like diesels, what you can do is you can like kind of rev it up a little bit, like clog it up, and then just dump it, and then you blow black smoke over everyone. That's a thing around here. Everyone gets, cyclists always get blacked out. Big trucks blowing diesel smoke all over you. Okay, yeah, rolling coal. So he tries to do it, and he stalls the car. So then, like Tony and myself, and I think there was two others that were with us, just slowly like ride up, right by him as he's like stalled in the road trying to start his car, and we're just kind of look over and we're like, good one, you know. And so then he's super pissed, right, because he tried to, you know, smoke us out. Then he stalls, and then he looks like an idiot. So then he like comes up and he slams in front of us and is talking all sorts of shit. So he's like, park, and like we can't get around him. So then I'm like super calm, and I go up to his window and I go, hey man, look, are you really gonna try to kill us for just riding our bikes? And he's like super pissed and he's getting all heated. And I was like, dude, you know, like I have a family, and I'm not doing anything to hurt you. And honestly, in any other like life, we could be friends. You know what I mean? I'm sure that we have a lot more in common than you might think. And so then he started getting really pissed. And so then I said, look, let's just, you know, get out of the car. Let's just go right over here and one-on-one. Let's just fight. Like, fight me, dude. Just whoop my ass. Kick. What kind of story would it be? I'm sure you've fantasized about beating a cyclist up all day. Let's just do that real quick. One-on-one. Like, it's going to be totally cool. And Tony already left the chat, so he can't vouch for this. But legitimately, he goes, no way, dude, you kicked my ass. Look how fit you are. And I was like, okay, what? Like, are you serious? And so then I'm like, all right, man, like, look, whatever, we don't have to fight. But it seems like you want to get confrontational. And then he grabs this huge, like, Bowie knife like this. And he just, like, thrashes it, like, right to my throat. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just, like, standing right there in front of him, staring in his eyes, just staring at him. And he like puts the knife to my throat. And I was like, are you seriously gonna kill me because I'm riding my bike? And then he just like throws the knife back in the car, gets in the car and drives off. Okay? And I was like, wow, that was a crazy deal. So then we ride our bikes up to a little gas station. And then he comes back again, like super pissed that he didn't like finish it or something. So then he pulls up, and then the driver has a gun. And then the passenger has a gun. The driver gets out, and he's got his knife with him, and he gets like right in my face again. And so I take my shoes off because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to like fight this guy, I guess. And so he's getting all crazy, and then someone says, oh, I'm calling the cops. So then they jump back in their car and they leave. And here's what's so annoying, dude, is that not only is this guy brandished a weapon, he's like threatened my life. You know what I mean? Like this dude's being the asshole. Cop comes and goes, you know, what's going on here? And everyone's telling him. And then he goes, well, were you in the middle of the road? It was like, are you kidding me? This cop who just got told that this guy has a gun, his other dude has a knife, put the knife to my throat, and he's asking me, was I in the middle of the road? Because that would then justify that? And the cop was like, well, what do you want me to do? Go to his house or something? And it was just like, the cop cared zero, gave zero care about the situation. And was like also pissed at cyclists. So he did nothing. And what I don't understand is like, say there was a little girl on the side of, in a suburban area on like in her grass. And I drove up on a truck and like roosted her with my truck and almost hit her. Would a cop come and be like, well, why were you in your front yard? Go back in your house. Like, no, you wouldn't say that. Now, whoever did that would go to jail. And yet this guy, since he brandished a weapon to a cyclist, it's like, no, man, we're not going to do anything about it. It's a real bummer, man. And I mean, I respect cops and stuff, but dude, I just never have any good, anything good to go along with cops in these situations where drivers almost kill cyclists, and then for some reason the cop is like, well, it's the cyclist's fault for being here. You know what I mean? So there's that story. Yeah. A lot of cops refuse to stand up for us. Dude, there was one time where we were on a group ride and this woman got so mad that she was chasing the cyclist with her car around an intersection, right? And so she's chasing everyone, trying to run them over, trying to kill them. And then we get at the end of the ride and the cops come, they pull her over, and they have like a couple cyclists detained, and they're like, well, did you hit her car? And the cyclist is like, well, we kicked her car because she was trying to run us over. And then they were trying to arrest the cyclists and not her, that she's like trying to kill them. And he was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I just can't believe it. But it is what it is, man. You got to, I don't know, you got to pick your battles, I guess, right? I wish the cops were more on our side. I don't know how it is at other places. But that's, again, why, man, I love living in the mountains. I don't have to deal with that stuff. I haven't had to deal with anything like that since moving into the mountains. Know what I mean? What's your view on the proposed rolling stop rule in California where you can roll through the stop sign? I roll through every stop sign because I've seen people stop at stop signs and then get run over. So 2 years ago, there was a guy in my neighborhood who almost got killed because he obeyed traffic laws. And he stopped at the stop sign, chick behind him plows through him because she was on her phone. And so then it's like, yeah, dude. Stop signs are great for cars because if you run a stop sign, like, there's going to be chaos there. But I'm a cyclist, man. I can observe the situation. I know if I'm clear to go or not. Now, obviously, if you're in like the city, hardcore city, and there's all these blocks, like, dude, you can't just blaze through these stoplights or stop signs because then you might interfere with other cars, and that you could be an issue. But for the most part, like rural stop signs, bro, I'm not stopping at them. I'm going through them. Yeah, man, if you roll through a stop sign right now, I believe you get a fatty ticket, like $300. I live in Bass Lake, California. It's a population of 500. The sign says population of 500, but that's like the high end. Most people only live here half the year. So in the winter, there's probably only 100 people in this town. It's awesome. Yeah. Someone is blowing up my phone. That's Tony. Tony's like blowing up my phone, man. Like, you know I'm chatting. How have the high wheels held up? Dude, I really like those wheels a lot. They've held up. Great. Yeah, Chaz, guilty. Stop Facebooking me, man. How wide are they? They're wide, man. They're 25 wide, I guess. They're just really, really wide. And so then you can put in a wide tire, and then so the wide rim and the wide tire make for that you can fill up the pressure quite hard, but also have like a big rolling footprint. Yeah, the town is Bass Lake. Froome, Contador, or Quintana? Dude, Froome all the way. I'm not a fan of Quintana at all. I don't like Quintana. Dude, he just... Stop. Hey. The bear's back. Dude, I wish I could show you the bear. He's like right out. Yeah. Dude, the bear's like, you can hear him rustling in the bushes. Any advice on teaching a kid to ride a bike? Dude, I'm going to do a whole video on it because I have a lot, I definitely have a certain style that you should teach a kid how to ride a bike. For one, you should definitely teach them super young. My son started riding a balance bike at 1. No training wheels, ever. Never put your kid on training wheels. So, balance bike, like a Strider, and then he started riding a motorcycle, like Vroom, dirt bike, with no training wheels, because his legs weren't long enough to pedal. And so then at 3, we got him a pedal bike. Then he was just crushing that. And but we do a lot of like skills sessions. So like we will ride really slow. We'll do follow the leader. So he'll follow me. He'll have to follow me, and I'll go like around a curb and through here and do these like really tight things. So it really helps him like learn bike handling. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that's, I don't know. I gotta do a video on it, but start your kid young and ride a lot. Yeah, dude, Striders are so awesome. I don't like Quintana because he's just not very exciting at all. And you're getting paid a lot of money to be exciting, right? You are an entertainer. Cycling, the highest level of cycling is entertainment. So if you're getting paid all this money, man, be entertaining. Do something. And every time I watch him, it's just very like he's never doing anything. And so it's just kind of, I don't know, man. There's never a time where I went, whoa, he's awesome. Contador is pretty cool, but I just sort of still don't really like his style. And then Froome, dude, Froome like takes chances, and Froome buries people, man. I like Froome a lot. Contador's a doper. It's tainted meat. He got some tainted meat, bro. I'm 31. What's your favorite race? Like, personally, my favorite race? I think probably my favorite race that I do is the one I just did, man, Visalia. It's a really fun race. You know what I mean? Paris-Roubaix, who's it going to be? I just hope it's Sagan. I just want Sagan to win everything. That's it. Win, man. You know? What's the best bike you had? I mean, I haven't... I would say this is probably... This and my felt are very similar. You know? What up? Do you race every weekend? No, I don't. I race often for a little while, and then when the races, because there's a time where a lot of races are near me, and then a lot of the races start going like 3, 4, 5 hours away from me, and that's just difficult to do that. That's difficult to do that, but I'm gonna try to race a lot this year just because I have a new baby coming, and I'll probably, I don't know how much racing I'll be able to do next year. I probably won't be able to ride very much at all at the end of this year. I'll Zwift it up, but, you know. Is your knee injury IT banned? No, it's not an IT banned injury. Both my ACL and what's the other one? Whatever. The supporting ligaments have micro tears. My meniscus has tears, and then I have some fluid buildup. MCL. So, you know. On Saturday, I did this circuit race, and it had this little pitchy climb, and it was tough, dude. We only had like 12 guys in the race, or 13 guys in the race, and so there's no room to fall back. You know what I mean? You can't really, if you're not able to match the pace on the climb, it's really difficult because you can't just fall back through the pack. And so the first hour was just pinned, right? And what I've been doing recently is Chaz has been running my camera, or a camera. So I have 2 cameras, which is cool. So if I don't really do that well, then I can have an awesome breakdown because then I can use Chaz's camera. But, you know, so I was editing it today and I'm getting all super excited. But then Chaz like set his camera to narrow view. And so, dude, it sucks, man. And Chaz had such a great race. He almost won that circuit race. It's a nail biter at the end. But his camera's his view's all messed up. You did 680 watts for a minute on your latest ride I saw. Yeah, I don't know, was it 680? I can't remember. It was 600 plus for like a minute and 15 seconds. It was a pretty good effort that I threw down on that little climb. I have I put power on it. I'm breaking it down so you'll see that whole little thing. Yeah, I think it was probably my best 1 minute power, I believe. I was feeling good that day. And that was after 2 hours. That was like 2.5 hours in. I did that. So, but do I prefer I prefer races with more people. And I was actually talking to the Stork guys after the race, and some of them have raced in Europe, and they're just like super legit. One guy's from Australia. They're so fast, and they were saying that that was probably the hardest local ride they've ever done, because it's just like the local race. Sorry, on Saturday it was like a local race, and they were saying it was like one of the hardest they've ever done, because there's no one. There's only 12 people, 13 people, and so when you have a ton of people, you know, you have an ability to rest. You can go from the front to the back and kind of recover. But when you only have like 12 guys, man, you can easily get like popped off, and then to get back on is really difficult. So I enjoy races with bigger guys, and then especially if you do well, you feel better about that, you know? Like when you get second in a race with 10 guys, it's like you know? Camp is sold out in 12 hours. I'll do another one for sure. What's your FTP weight? So right now I'm like 5 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. Right there-ish. I want to say I'm probably right at about 340 FTP, and my weight fluctuates between 160 and 170. It's like I fluctuate 10 pounds depending on my training volume. Do you chat with other big cycling YouTubers, Dern Rider or Maven? I do chat with Maven. Maven's super cool, dude. We actually tried to start a podcast together, and it just wasn't working out very well. I've had long conversations with Cycling Maven on the phone, just about YouTube and life. Dern Rider just subscribed to my channel like a week ago. And I don't know, man. That was really cool. That was a neat thing to see that he subscribed, because and I've talked about this in the last chat. I know that whatever your views on Dern Rider are or aren't, you know what I mean. I am vegan because of him. You know what I mean. He was producing content that a vegan could cycle at an elite level, and so I really liked his older content about cycling and riding was awesome. I think he kind of steered in a weird way, but you know, I don't know, dude. It was really kind of neat to see this guy who sort of started me, right? Then subscribed to me, so that was kind of cool. But I've never talked to him. I've never chatted him up. The Maven and VC podcast would be sick. The problem was putting it together and then being consistent on it. I don't know. Sean's not in Thailand yet, but he will be. That's kind of cool. That's crazy. It's going to be crazy for him traveling the world. That's going to be really neat. If you shave your beard plus 200 watts. No, dude, they did the Specialized did the wind tunnel, and beards are good to go. No wattage loss at all. Brian, it is raining. It is raining outside. It's raining. I don't ride in the morning. So would you rather cycle in the morning or afternoon? When it gets really hot, I might ride in the morning, but I don't wake up well. You know what I mean? It takes a long time for me to get, like a diesel motor. It takes forever for me to get started, but then once I get going, man, I could just through the night. I mean, get me going and I'm good, but it's hard to wake up for me, you know. But I have been waking up somewhat early and then getting on the Zwift and doing like a Zwift race. Those are cool. Doing like the fasted ride, so not eating and then doing high intensity for an hour to hour and a half. I feel like that sheds off a little bit of fat. Yeah, I mean, the people that wake up at 5 in the morning to ride, I mean, I've done it. I've done that, so I know what it's like. But dude, I ain't trying to I ain't trying to do that, man. I'm not trying to do that. You know. Someone asked me about my tattoo. Get settled here. So, I want to get it fully sleeved out. Have you ever done a fasted ride after waking up? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. So, I want to get it fully sleeved. But when I was like 18, me and a buddy like went to a tattoo parlor shop and just like picked something off the wall. It was like this. And so then I put like this like starfish on my arm. I don't know why. You know, just like whatever. And then when I was doing my motorcycle shop, there was like a better tattoo artist guy who's like, I'll do like biomechanical stuff. At the time, that was kind of in. And so then he started to do the outline, and we were trading on like motorcycle parts and accessories. And then I don't know, man. I went out of business and I had nothing to trade, and I just kind of stopped working on the tattoo. And so now I kind of want to do like a full-on sleeve of take like what kind of looks organic and like add some like plants and sort of things to then like, so like I want it to go like earth down into like space, right? And so like up here on my forearm and stuff kind of like spacey, and then it's like grows from the whatever. It'd be sick. If anyone out there is an awesome tattoo artist, man, let's work together. Let's do something. I'm 31, man. 31. Any advice for cornering and crits or descents in the rain? That's hard, man. I think though, so you want to put as much pressure on the opposite side, right? So you put pressure, if you're turning left, you put pressure on the right. And I think in the rain, you want to try to not lean your bike over as much, because then you don't have as much surface area. But I like crits that are in the rain because it kind of creates like a separation. It creates another element. one, people, it's really hard for someone to suck your wheel because you're just getting blasted with water. But then people kind of are hesitant. So in one, it was like 2 years ago, Tony Wolf and I were in this race. It was pouring rain, and dude, just from the gun, it was just, I was just pinning it. And me and like a couple guys got into a breakaway, and because we just went so hard in the first bit and took so many risks that no one else was willing to do that. So we got this little breakaway going, and then Tony bridged that, and then he was like my sprinter, and it was super cool. It was like one of my favorite races that I think about often. And so it's pouring rain. We've got a breakaway of like 6, and Tony's in there with me. And so then we come to the last lap, and he's my sprinter, right? So I go, because he was on my team at that time. And I go to the front, and for the last lap, just open it up. And what was so cool is that I'm like drilling it. And then guys, like maybe half a lap to go, some guys start to sprint to go. And they start going, but they were in the draft, and so you feel like you can go. And once they started going, we were going like 30 miles an hour. So then they just hit the wall of wind, don't go anywhere, and I just like come back past them. So it was really neat to like feel so strong that they're like trying to come around me. They try, they can't, they get back in line, and I led Tony out to an awesome win, the first win of the season. So that was really fun. The trolls on here are so weird, man. It's so weird that you create this weird account and troll on this thing. Did you start in crits? My first race was a crit. I like crits. I like crits better. All right, man. It's getting late. You know what I mean? Let's go like 1 or 2 more stories, or like two, 3 more questions. And so any interest in a Trans Am or Indy Pac type race? There's the RAM, Race Across America. And that is something that I wanted to do. I actually got offered to be a part of an 8-man team a long time ago, but the team was like, just not, they were not like high vis riders, not racing, right? They were just like recreational riders. And so I wanted to race. I didn't want to be a part of that. So I was thinking, man, it would be cool to do a race across America. But when you look at some of those guys that they ride for 48 hours straight. And so to like be competitive, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna ride 48 hours straight. So it would be cool to maybe do a relay. You can do 2-man teams or even a 4-man team. So I think that would be way more enjoyable, because if you were gonna go solo across America, dude, you're not gonna be taking in anything. You're not gonna be enjoying that experience if you're solo. You're just gonna be head down and just pedaling. And it's all going to be the same. And then it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. You're going to be fatigued. Your mind's not going to be there. You might make mistakes. I mean, dude, I just don't know if that would be the way to go. It'd be super sick to say I did it, but at what cost? And so I think doing like a 4-man team to do Race Across America, where you go, you know, like 12 hours is a 2-man section, and then 12 hours is a 2-man section, and you just do that. That would be sick. So, you know, how did your skill fitness curve go from when you started racing until now? Pretty steady. You know what I mean? It's a pretty steady, like progression is not linear, but my progression has been pretty linear. It really seems like every year I've sort of increased my performance by an equal amount, you know? It hasn't really seemed to diminish. this year will be the year that maybe I don't do that, because like I'm sort of starting to get into like 5 watts per kilo is difficult. 6 watts per kilo is really difficult. And so I don't know if I'll ever be able to, I don't know how much more I can do. I think that this year probably will be like my final year of making really big gains. But dude, I need to stop making gains and start making results. You know, I need to get results. And so more than increasing my power, I need to increase my race smartness. I need to race smarter. I need to work on my weaknesses. You know what I mean? So not necessarily my all-out power, that sort of thing. I just need to work on it. But it all depends, right? It depends. So if you're asking that question of like, well, what was your curve like? It's going to be different than your curve. You know what I mean? It's everyone's progression is different, and not always is your all-out power the thing you want to be looking at. It could be that if you this guy Tomas, you know what I mean? He gets dropped a lot of races. His sustained power is not very good, but dude, his snap is unreal. So he's been doing a lot more track, and that like fits him perfectly, because doing like a 200-meter flying deal or these really short races, like his motor's so suited for that. But when you get out into a longer crit or a longer road race, or especially with climbs, like dude, his motor's just no good for that. But he's great on the track. So maybe look at what your motor best suits, and then try to apply that to your strength. So Chaz runs 85 PSI. Seriously? I try to do like 105,000. If someone gave you a track bike, would you race the velodrome? If I had a track bike, I would race more track. But I would need to ride it all the time. I have nightmares of the track bike. I literally had a nightmare last night where I was trying to ride the track, and my pedals just started bucking me, and then my bars twisted, and that wreck, dude, traumatized me so much, because I had no clue that was coming on, right? It was just like such a sudden thing, and so, you know, if I had a track bike and I rode it often, I could then maybe get into the mindset of pedaling. I'd like to do more track, but you can't just dip in, you know what I mean? You can't just do a lot of road and then dip into track real quick. Look at Chaz bragging about his watts per kilo. Dude, Chaz is super strong. Cycling podcast suggestions. SoCal Cyclist, the one that I was on. I really like him. He does a lot. But, thanks, Chris. But, I don't really listen to a lot of cycling podcasts, actually. Other than that one. I just Radiolab, Joe Rogan. 99% Invisible is a new one I've really been all over. That one's cool. So, why do you like Radiolab? Have you listened to Radiolab? Dude. How is that even a question? If you've listened to Radiolab, then you know why Radiolab is so amazing. Not only is their production of everything phenomenal, but the stories they tell, dude, is just... There was one about like World War II. I am not interested in that at all, but the way they told the story was so amazing, and to hear these things that I would never know about really broadens my like horizon of knowledge, and dude, that's what it's all about. How do you not like radio? I mean, dude, no one could not like Radiolab. It's just, you know. The Rich Roll podcast is cool. I've listened to a couple of his, but I don't know. He's kind of monotone, man. So, so there. So there. Should I lift weights to ride faster? I don't know. It doesn't really seem to work for me. I think it's just two totally different things. I think it can help you with your all-out sprint power, but you know. What did someone just? I feel like someone just had a good question. I was going to answer it, but. What was that question? I'm trying to find that one more question. One second. Must have got deleted. Oh, the streaming the races. So I really wanted to stream my races. I even went and got like unlimited data on my phone so that I could upload unlimited. And I don't know why I assumed that my GoPro could Bluetooth to my phone, but it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. You can't live stream from a GoPro. And I feel like I've seen all these things like that you can I called GoPro and you can live stream if it's plugged in, but it won't live stream if it's Bluetooth. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't understand. I don't know what I gotta find a camera. Whatever camera. Dude, I called GoPro. I said, here's my setup. They said that you cannot do it. So I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to. I want to figure that out. If I could, it would be so sick to live stream from my GoPro onto YouTube via my phone. Okay, but so use Periscope, but so not YouTube, right? I could stream it to somewhere else, but not YouTube, right? Because that's where I want to live it to YouTube, not Periscope. Maybe I'm not understanding how that works. Why do you podcast in the morning? It's 9 o'clock at night for me. Are you still into martial arts? I mean, you know, I'll wrap my wife up in a rear naked choke from time to time. But there's a little gym near me, and I've gone there a couple times. It's just the gyms are really far away, and I guess the thing is that I competed at such a high level in jiu-jitsu and committed so much of my time, going 7 days a week basically, that I feel like if I'm going to step back on the mat, I know how much work it takes to be at a certain level. And that's just kind of how it is with lots of things. Once you hit a certain level, once you've crossed a certain threshold, you sort of know what it takes to be there. And then when you're not ready to have that level of commitment again, it's kind of like, you know. But there you go. All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna jet. I'm gonna go get in the spa, and I kind of want to show you. I want to show you something, but it's sort of gross, so I'm not going to show you. But I learned something last night, and then I'm out of here. Mountain biking, and Tony and I are railing. Okay, we're going super fast. I'm keeping up with him, and he's super pissed. Tony's really good at going downhill, and so we're smashing it, and he's like so mad that I'm on his wheel. So then he hits this one section. It's like it's all washed out, and it's super muddy, and he just like rails it, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna stay with him, and huge mistake. One was that I was wearing tennis shoes, like running shoes, okay? Because my cleats fell off. I didn't have them to run them, so I was running flat pedals and tennis shoes, and my chain was in this small ring, okay? Big ring exposed. So I'm going down the hill, and my front end washes out, and I just eat shenanigans, and the sprocket just rolled through my foot. And so I have two huge puncture holes in the top of my foot, followed by like a groove. And it's so bad. And it's like it kind of messed up the tendon on the top of my foot, because now like my top of my foot doesn't work very well, and the top of my foot is numb. it's like my big toe and the up to like the top of my foot. It's like numb. It was bad, dude. I honestly thought I broke my leg. I was looking down. There's a huge hematoma on my shin, and then I was like, oh, that's not good. And so then I get home and I take off my shoe and there's just blood everywhere, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really bad. And so then I take off my sock and it's just like two just freaking holes so deep, and it's like healing, right? And so it's like it's all kind of gross. But anyway, learned my lesson. To when you're going downhill, dude, put the chain in the big ring, because that was just like a death gear waiting to get me, man. So I did. I went and saw my doctor, and it didn't need stitches because it was just like puncture holes, right? And so we cleaned it out. They put like all the disinfectant stuff. They bandaged it up. But still, like, I can't feel the top of my foot. It's I don't know. It's a little weird. It doesn't feel like it's permanent. Like, it just feels like maybe it like pinched a nerve or did something. But that was nuts. No, dude, I don't. It's kind of gross. I don't want to show it. But all right, man. Guys, thank you so much. I've got a bunch of videos coming up tomorrow. I'm loading the Power Tap review, and then I've got like 2 group ride breakdowns. I've got a race cast, and then a race breakdown, and then I'm probably gonna do a little bit of like just tutorial type videos, like how to whatever videos, and then I'm gonna do like a vegan week. I'm gonna do a whole vegan week. So I know I probably won't get a lot of views on those. But I'm gonna do like Monday, what breakfasts you should do and how to do them. Tuesday, what kind of lunches. Wednesday, what kind of dinners. I don't know. I might do a whole vegan week down the line. Might be kind of neat. Anyway, day in the life. I have a week in the life. I did a week in the life last year. This time I did it again, so I'm editing that. So I have a whole week in the life of a vegan cyclist. So it shows everything I ate for a week while racing. So that's cool too, man. So I got all that stuff coming. As always, thanks so much, guys. Vegan Cyclist. Yeah. Now I gotta like awkwardly get up and turn off the camera.